Been dragging the bottom for oh so long, but I can feel that power running strong. It's in the air, I can feel it now. The dragon's walls are crumbling down. It's time to fly.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. I hope everyone is doing well. People are saying that Rumble is having some problems. We're 5x5 on Rumble, but I don't know. If your personal accounts are struggling, then you need to sign out of Rumble, sign back in, and see what's going on. We will continue to monitor. Libby?
Yes.
Where are we with Rumble?
I'm on, and it's up for me and running, so.
Okay, so as far as that link, is that the...
It took me to the page, so I would assume it's the correct one.
Okay. If you guys have not had a chance and you want to know when we come on, it's 7 o'clock. It's been 7 o'clock for a year and a half, but you can go to messenger.com, channel The DUM Show. That will get you over to our membership group that notifies you when we go live. It's pretty easy, though. It's 7 o'clock. Good to see everybody. We are showing that it's 6 o'clock, even though that's wrong. It's 7, but that's okay. We'll get that bug fixed. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Good to see everybody, and that'll give people some time to get signed into Rumble. See you then.
Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts be true. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dog.
Hello everyone, good morning. Brandon from Still Point. Just wanted to give you guys an update on everything going on. Give a big hell yeah to Matt Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. The Barry Morgenstein photo shoot. There's Leroy. Look at him, looking great. Olivia looking stunning as always. Look at there, baby. Rocking the lid. Barry has done photo shoots with kings, presidents, the Pope, rock and roll royalty, Jimi Hendrix. Come on now. It's so awesome that our music is finally catching on after all this time. And you know we're going to always keep on rocking in the free world, baby. Make sure you tune in to the Don't Unfriend Me show every weeknight at 7 p.m. EST. The new stuff is dropping on all platforms very soon. We got it uploaded now, but we're getting on the Spotify playlist. You know how you have to do that. So be on the lookout for that. Go download it. Go support Still Point. And go support the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matt, Leroy, Olivia, Amy, we love you guys. Ethan, baby, we love you. And we will see you all soon. We're getting everything ready, and it's going to be badass. We'll see you on the stage soon. Keep on rocking in the free world.
It's Red Friday. RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. A movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday. As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to dumbshow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
The DUM Show, May 16th, 2025, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. One goal, one night, one chance. Chris Peranto, Laura Logan, Roseanne Barr, Jason Shepard, T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Barry Morgenstein, Ryan Samuels, Lisa Regina. One night only. The race to 20K is on. Be part of it.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, everybody? I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. It is Friday.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's Friday.
It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It feels like it's been a long week.
It has, and today was a long day for me, man.
No, I'll make it up to you.
Yeah.
Got a hold of Matt. He was our firewood guy when we moved here 4 years ago, and is the AC on, honey?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was our guy. Check the vent. I don't trust you.
Vent's open. AC's on.
Okay, great. So he was our firewood guy. Well, he owns a lumber mill and a planing shop, and he has all sorts of like reclaimed wood, and so I'm gonna consign him to do a desk for us.
Did he remember you?
Yeah. He's like, oh, God, Mac, that's awesome, dude. Great job. I didn't know. And he's like, would love to help you out. And let's rock and roll. When can I come over? And I said, anytime. So I'm going to see about doing a custom desk for us because we need a specific type of desk. And I think that's where it's probably the most prominent and important is to do that. And then to do the backdrop and see if he wants to do that as well. So we're really excited. So what are we talking about? We're talking about redoing the studio, and after 4 years, we're moving out of this little 15 by 12. Yeah, 4.5 years, 15 by 12. And it suited us well, and the acoustics are great, and it's a fantastic little office. But if we want to have other people on the show, we got to get some more space. So we think that we've maximized the space. We've got it looking great. We've got the cameras dialed in. We got the lights dialed in. We've got the mic, and now that we know how to do this, we can go replicate it in a bigger space, which is 19 by 12. Yeah, so much bigger, and we're excited for it. So anyway, that's going to be the 16th. This 1 week from today, exactly. We've got an update. Let's see. It's
Still Point is in the house.
Oh my God! Total 6 days, 23 hours, and 46 minutes. Huh?
Still Point's in the house.
Who cares? No, I'm kidding. Still Point. I was a joke. Lighten up. They knew it was. He gave me shit last time. We love Still Point. Still Point does all the music for the show. So if you've listened to the show for more than 2 seconds, you may have heard something like. That's Still Point. So amazing band. We love them to death. And they got a new bassist. Maddie retired from the band. Still friend, of course, of the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We love him to death. But they went ahead and got a new bassist. And I'm excited to hear what he can do. Got to hear a little bit on their page. If you haven't followed, STIILPOINT. It's Red Friday. Wimkin, our sponsor, our gold sponsor of the show. They have a prominent position in the lower corner because they sponsor our show, and we love them to death, and they're awesome. 9 million social media account. It's got everything: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, kind of all rolled into one. You get free ability to upload your videos. You can go ahead and stream on there, everything you want. It's a great account. You don't have to pay any money. We would love it if you would. Just subscribe. It's like, I think $1 or $2. You can do that too, and it helps the site. It's a free speech platform, and they were canceled by the U.S. government because they wouldn't give their database of users to the Senate Oversight Committee. And since then, they have been absolutely harassed. So Jason will be here on this Friday. So along with Roseanne Barr, Laura Logan, and everyone else, it's going to be a huge show. We can't wait to see it. Last but not least, thedumshow.com. Oh, below that, you see that now we have a news ticker, which shows Fox News, current news. It's nice to have that because it's showing everything in the United States. And if anything flashes or comes up, we can see it, which is important. And there it is. So you can see that scrolling. That'll be on the ticker from now on. It's a nice little feature. And if you want to donate to the show and help the show, since we are really, it's up to you for fundraising, it is thedumshow.com/donate. And you can go there and donate any amount. And the new thing that was recommended by one of our viewers, please donate. If everyone gives $5, we reach our goal. So we'll pop that up once in a while when you see it. It means kind of things are going slow and we need a little bit of help to get that number where we need to have it. Sorry for the long intro, but we're going to go late tonight, and that's just the way it is. It's 7:15, and that's usually when we start on Friday.
Is the donation splash up? Because I just did a donation and showing, but it didn't splash.
Nope.
I'll read it and then we can.
Yeah, tell me who it was.
It's Bobby.
Bobby.
1080.
$10. Wait, Bobby.
Bobby Richardson. She said, small start to see if we can get matches to help get goal quicker. Love you guys.
All right, $10.80. Bobby has kicked it off and started it off, and she's looking for matches. The starting amount is $10.80, and that's what Bobby wants to do. Bobby gives a lot of money to this show, and when I say a lot, she is the #1 contributor. And even if Mr. Richardson, we hit 10 and he matches it, Bobby will still be the #1 contributor on this show, if that tells you how much she's donated. So if she says 1080, then she's the one. She is kind of a co-owner of this show in spirit,
much.
And without her, well, we probably would have went out of business. So we love her to death, and we love everybody who donates. Doesn't matter whether it's $1 or whatever. We appreciate it. All right, so still no Rumble? What do you mean we're not on Rumble?
Some people are having issues. We are on Rumble. I guess Rumble's been acting weird, so it might be down for some people and might not, because we're up. But a couple people said they're in, but they can't see any chat.
Okay.
But I've got everything, so I think it's something with Rumble. It's not.
Yeah,
us.
Rumble does a good job for us, so we obviously want to get that back. Thanks for sharing on Twitter. Let's get going. We've got a lot to do. Yeah, thank goodness for Bobby. And there's so many people who help us. And we have a huge scroller at the end, which I need to update, which tells you who has donated to the show the most. And we want to try to update that more. But we're working on getting a permanent place for the people who have truly kind of formed the show, and we'll have that after the 16th. Okay, that's enough. We have went far enough. So listen, there's something that people may not understand about China. How many Chinese students do you think come to the United States and are educated by our college universities annually? Give me a guess. 500,000. That's a really good guess. It's actually 300,000. But it's a really good guess. What do you think there's any possible detriment to that? Is that something that could cause issues anywhere, or just something come to mind where you're like,
No, I mean, I don't think it would.
Fair enough. So what do you think it takes for the Chinese government to release somebody to come over here as a student? Do you think there's any obligation from the student? Now remember that you have to file to have a child in China. So if you want to have a kid, you have to register and get approved to have a kid. And if you get pregnant without a license,
they will force you to have an abortion.
That is correct.
I've read several stories.
So them sending someone over to college obviously is probably not as cut and dry as you would anticipate a normal person. So what do you think? Do you think there's any?
I'm going to assume family members back home. That has something to do with that. Or
yeah.
They are required to sign a contract that they'll work for something, or they'll give part of their money after they get a job, or
Yeah,
not quite sure.
all
but
normal things that a normal country would maybe do, but it's worse than that. They have to agree to spy for the CCP on the host country that they go to
Really?
and provide intelligence to the CCP. Yeah.
Ooh, well, maybe it's not a good thing they're coming over anymore.
Don't you think? Well, they still are. And it's something we should stop.
Yeah, especially since,
Yeah,
probably
I mean,
not a good thing
yeah.
for that to happen.
It's just
so-
something people don't know, you know?
Yes. Okay, that is up.
And there we go, CJ. Starting out early. Thank you. We appreciate it. Is this the spy law? Yep. Tomorrow it is. And I was just thinking about it. And it's something that I was aware of when I was going through Intel school. And there was a counterintelligence class that all Intel people have to kind of take. And I think it's like week 6. And if Leroy is here, he'd be able to help us. But it's really like how to make sure that when you are outside the wire or you're in a foreign country working deployed as an intelligence specialist, that there are foreign governments that are going to try to reach out to you and extort information from you or recruit you to work for them. And I was approached in 2 different places, and one was in Russia, and another one, surprisingly enough, was in Hong Kong.
To spy for them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would
So-
they think that any American military personnel is going to become a spy for a different country?
Because American military personnel spy for other countries all the fucking time. We have had numerous cases of high-level intelligence officials and low-level officials spying for foreign governments.
Wow.
And you have to and understand this. It wasn't anything like, would you like to go ahead and spy for Russia? You know, it's not that, but it's a Russian contact. And based upon understanding the nuance, the questions, the attitude, you can pick up on these things. And this is what counterintelligence provides you, is to recognize the signs when a foreign asset is trying to fish information from you. And the first contact that I had in Russia was a female. And I was with Tommy. And I've told you plenty of times.
Yeah.
And she wanted us to come outside and continued to try to allure us outside. And when Tommy came back to the table, he said that when he walked by where the head was, that he could see outside, and there were 2 fairly large guys that were in the back, and could tell by their overall dress and appearance that they were more than likely with some form of foreign agency, whether it be the KGB or Politburo or Spetsnaz or whoever it would be. And we got up and got the fuck out of there. The second time was in Hong Kong, and had really no rhyme or reason to this point of contact. But a gentleman, when we were playing foosball in Hong Kong, one of the bars that we had, there was a sevens tournament going on. We got back from the sevens tournament, rugby, and went to a local bar that happened to serve gyoza, which is one of the greatest. It's the buffalo wings of China, Japan, Asia. And a gentleman walked in and sat down with us after playing a couple games of foosball, and said that they were Royal Marines and had English accents. So, as always, we assume that they were with an HMS, a boat, and were hitching with the Navy. And the conversation just came into normal conversation, started talking about rugby. And started talking about the difference between hookers and locks and scrums and all the differences. And these guys, being English, there's 2 things that English people know. Well, 3: cricket, soccer, football, and rugby. And as we were talking, and I was with Dave Mackey at the time, Mackey.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking, and then I was also with Brian Burke I don't think Tommy was there that night. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it was Mackie. So it was only one or two other intel guys, because usually Mackie and I just hung out together. Anyway, so as we're having a conversation, Mackie gets up and I think he shoves off, and me and Burke are there, and then one other guy. And we're still talking to these guys. And then, so Berkey starts talking about English rugby and starts lipping off a little bit to these guys. And, you know, the conversation ensues. And Burke said something, you know, kind of a little snotty, and I don't remember what it was. And one of the guys that was supposed to be English, he cursed under his breath. And you know my hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
What language was it?
Russian. And that was interesting to me. So about 6 weeks, you know, and we just kind of brushed it off. I heard it, and I kind of gave the high sign, which is let's get the fuck out, and left. About 6 weeks later, we get a message traffic that there are Russian assets working for the Chinese Communist government who are posing as English or Irish or Scottish and trying to strike up conversations in a homosexual nature with Navy people. And I'm like,
Did you tell anyone about these encounters?
oh, fuck, I of course, you have to do a contact report right away.
Yeah.
I did a contact report on both when I got back to my vessel. But the two, no, I got back to the JIC and I did it. So Joint Intelligence Center was offshore at this time because we were going through dry dock and going through rehab. So it was short time. And it wasn't a full dry dock, but it was still in Japan, but there were repairs being done. Something to do with anchor and hull repair, minor hull repair. That was all basically over the side welding. Anyway, so we get this message traffic that comes in from command, and they're trying to fish for information to identify people who may be homosexual, get these people back to a room, and then build a relationship so they can work the asset. And when we got that traffic, there were pictures assigned that we had to review as a kind of like a bolo, be on the lookout. But if you're going to go on shore, this is the behavior, these are the reports, and these, I swear to God, those two guys were in the picture. And there was like 17 different photographs, and then also recreations of photographs, you know, drawings of these people. And yeah, Mackie was there because I did talk to him. I said, "Did you get the briefing this morning?" And he's like, yeah, because he was an OS, operations specialist, which is still below an IS as far as the intel chain, but he still has a very high clearance. And he's like, "Yeah, we got it too." And I said, what did you notice?" And he's like, "Two of those guys are the ones that we saw." And he goes, "Do I look like a fag?" I said, kinda.
Funny.
So my point is that this is why you see a lot of intel guys don't get distinguishing marks, don't get tattoos. If anything really changes about their, you know, appearance from a permanent standpoint, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want to be an easy mark. But the problem is when you pull in a port, I mean, you got 2,000 sailors that just hit the open market, and intelligence agencies feed on this. I mean, they want to know, like, they'll find, where are you going? Where's your next deployment? They'll find a woman who sleeps with you. She goes, "When are you going to be in town next?" You know, "Oh, well, I'm going to be back here on December 14th. Okay, well, now that information goes back to command on their side, and now they've got the movement of that vessel and where it's going to go. Or, "Hey, where did you guys just get back from?" "Well, we were running in the Sea of Japan and the China Sea, and we were under red light the whole time." Well, to you may not know what that means, but to a foreign asset, they understand that you're basically running red light. You're doing, sneak and peeks in areas you're not supposed to be in. And now they have confirmation that the USS Blue Ridge or the USS Enterprise or whatever is doing sneak and peeks in these areas. So this all literally is a network, and it happens all the time. So it's not a big surprise that China does this. But I want you to imagine how many of those students pick up a low-level young congressman in the bar. How many of them may be exchange students in situations that are right next to a senator's house or a congressman's house?
I wonder if that's how Swalwell got involved.
Well, Swalwell was specifically targeted, and Fing Fang Pham Phoom wind up targeting a whole bunch of people, not just Swalwell, but she worked it pretty heavily. Anyway, it's just something to think about, and not necessarily a topic for tonight, but definitely something to process when we're talking about illegal immigrants. Should the United States continue to educate the world?
Well, I mean, if we know that they're coming over here for nefarious reasons, then no. So if we know that every single
How do you
Chinese,
know? How do you know?
I don't know.
I mean, we
That's
know
the
that
hard
every
part.
single one of them have a contract with the CCP to debrief and share information upon their return. Facebook says you in a bunch of little boxes when I want to you through research, and then I couldn't get the show to come up, but I'm able to watch you on Facebook through your notification.
I think some people are having issues getting on or something. I'm not sure.
Weird. 565, Joanne Lutman, 565. Let's get the donation started. Appreciate it. And it's just something to think about, right? So when we're talking not just illegal immigration, but for a fact this is what the CCP does.
Yeah.
And it's something that all foreign governments do. And at any given time between the 80s and 2000s, we had hundreds, if not thousands, of KGB and Spetsnaz and Politburo working inside the United States borders. And we had the same working overseas in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So the intelligence game is serious. And I just don't think people understand how much data changes hands between human. And human intelligence is a very serious game. And I would encourage the Trump administration to really consider what the vetting process looks like for Chinese nationals in our country.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely, I think they need to be vetted pretty heavily. And,
Let's bring the purple
but
hair.
as far as other countries, I mean, I don't know what they do, but
Well, what do you mean? Like as
does
far as
Russia send people here to spy just like China
yes,
does?
Yes. Yeah. Well, over here we had Matt Spear, baby. What?
I don't know. I'm not
Still
sure.
point. What?
What? Yeah.
What? So what? But yeah, so it's just something to think about. It's just a random topic that I was thinking about, and it, I was looking at how many students come in, and I was like, that's an incredible amount for how many issues the United States has with data breaches. And, people are worried about a Chinese spy balloon, but allowing 300,000 open spies into our country, I'm a little more concerned about that than a Chinese spy balloon, to be honest with you. Something that they can get from any of their satellites.
Yeah.
It's concerning. So anyway.
It is.
All right. Now that we've established that, now we can move on. Sorry, 1 second. Please remove that. Okay. Charlie Kirk was with Riley Gaines. You know who Riley Gaines is?
She is the swimmer, right? That is all about no men and women's sports.
Yeah, no men and women's sports, and she's running that fight. Do me a favor, honey. Put up that Facebook Messenger thing. People are asking, how do I find the show?
Okay.
So we should put that up every 10 minutes. Like if we're gonna put up one, that's the one we should put up. Is go here. In fact, I should just make that a sticky.
You need to. I'm not sure if this is the correct link.
Just put it down.
Okay.
And let me see it. I'll tell people if it's the right one.
Okay. Really long one, so I don't know if that's it.
Facebook watch live. No.
Okay.
Where did you get this?
Whatever you just sent and posted the show at, that's what I did.
Okay.
I just copied and pasted it.
If you go to the channel setting, it's really easy. You're an admin. You should see our channel settings. Right?
I'm deleting the message.
So if you go to channels on the top of the page.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to get out because in order to get in,
Okay.
I'd have to get out of the show.
Open a window.
New window.
So if we share and hit copy, this is it. So copy and paste this and put this in your notes. I'll send it to you.
Okay, you're sending it. Okay.
Yep. So put that. I need to make it text, but it won't convert to text link. There we go. There it is. So put that in your thing and just put that link and say, join here for show updates. Keep it real simple. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Here is a video from Charlie Kirk and Riley Gaines. Yes, Riley Gaines is the Olympic swimmer, collegiate swimmer, who has literally been in the news so often because of men and women's sports, and she is an advocate for it. Charlie and her did an open mic with college students, and this student came up, and I want you to listen to what she had to say. Did you get it fixed, Liv? Are you ready to go?
I think so.
All right, we need to rock and roll.
Okay, go.
Okay, but you got to listen.
Yep, listening.
Here it is.
Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Wait, I just have one question for you. No. Why does your face look like that?
I'm sorry.
Why does your face look like that?
Are you're the one saying that to me?
Yeah. And what about it?
What is a woman?
Dude, you're ugly as shit. You get no and you look like.
You know, this is a common argument from the left. I get this all the time, that I get no pussy. I'm going to go ahead and Brady Bunch this and look down below here and ask the person underneath me, which is kind of apropos for the topic because that happens quite often. Do I get no pussy?
How do I answer? No. Yes, you do.
So that's kind of an entrapment, isn't it? So they're basically saying that there's no carnal knowledge in my life. That I don't get any sex, Liv. Is that true or false?
Oh, no. You get sex all the time.
How often, Liv?
4 to 5 times a week.
At least.
Sometimes twice a day.
So I hate when people do this because Charlie Kirk is happily married, and I'm sorry for the crude and rude name of the female anatomy, but she started it. But I get this all the time, and it's so sophomoric for people to sit here and say, I bet you live in your mom's basement. And I'm like, well, let me show it to you. So you put on a photograph. And this, once again, is what I've been trying to explain the last few nights so people can understand. And I'll put it up. Actually, I don't have a picture of it, so never mind. But it's essentially an argument that is designed, no matter what you say, it's going to be wrong. There is no right answer when it comes to this type of questioning. So if they say you live in a basement and you're like, well, let me show you my house. They're like, you see, you're a loser. Yeah. You had to show me this. And it's called the Kafka trap.
Yeah.
And it's the Kafka trap. No matter what you do, you're going to lose. Whether you address it or you don't address it, they're going to say, see, I knew you wouldn't address my point, or you addressed my point, you're a loser. You're begging so hard. So they can say you live in your basement, or you're poor, or your wife's ugly, or you don't get any sex. I bet your family doesn't talk to you. And there's no way to argue these points. So watch what this chick does, and watch what she says to Riley Gaines, and listen to this.
Come on up. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Wait, I just have one question for you. No.
Liv, recreate what Rick Shoemaker just said and make a post about that with that link.
Rick.
Here.
You go into the.
You physically go into it. I'm sending it to you right now.
I see it.
That's something we should be flashing up. Go into the follow button. Select, follow, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Yeah, that's something helping people out. All right, here we go.
No. Why does your face look like that?
I'm sorry.
Why does your face look like that?
Are you're the one saying that to me?
Yeah. And what that about it.
What is a woman?
Dude, you're ugly as shit. You get no and you look like that. Like, why does your face look like that? And the woman that was up here before, she was right when she said your mom missed her abortion date because... And you look trans too. I just had to say that, yeah.
So let me make sure I understand this. The people who fight for human rights and trans rights believe it's an insult to call somebody trans? Oh, well, I didn't know that. See, so this is the problem with Democrats. Can you think of another example, like with black people, what they do that is just overtly racist? You know, they say, you can't be racist. Black people can't be racist. Democrats aren't racist. We love all minorities, but they are so subtly racist in what they do. Can you think of anything else?
Not specific.
How about voter ID?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't.
You're too dumb.
Yeah.
Black people are
black
too dumb
people
to
won't
get.
be able to vote if they have to get an ID.
They're too dumb to get an ID.
Yep.
So here, take this welfare check instead. What about affirmative action? Black people can't. How can it's racist to not have affirmative action? At one time it was, when there was systemic racism, specifically designed with Jim Crow laws and redlining, but now it's actually more racist to have affirmative action.
What exactly is for affirmative action? Affirmative action is that if there's a white person, a black person with equal merit, equal education, everything else, that you hire the black person instead of the white person, because basically DEI.
It's exactly what it is.
Okay, so DEI.
But affirmative action was a law and legal.
Got it.
And DEI was just another clever name for giving people a crutch, because we have to impose that racism is inherently in all white people, and you're stacked up against the system. But that's not the way it is, but that's what they believe. So people like that, it's the same thing when they call you a fag or call you gay, and you're like, wait a second, you're a liberal. What are you talking about? Or they point out that people die from white shooters. Right, they do. And there's also Muslim and black and female shooters and all others. But you didn't mention the 8 trans shooters that happened all last year. And the first 8 major shootings were all transgender or non-binary, snowflakes. And then you certainly don't, bring up the 30,000 gangland shootings that happen with black people killing black people. So it's typically what they do. So this argument is, I'm going to insult you with my entire argument about trans people by calling you and saying you look like trans as an insult. It's a cell phone. So that's how you get out of the Kafka trap. You get out of the Kafka trap by not answering the question that they want. So when people, like, for instance, this guy said to me, he said, dude, Ye is just expressing himself in his new song, Heil Hitler. And, you just need to stop. All this is fabricated. It's not even true. The Holocaust didn't happen. I said, I'll take my grandmother's word over some guy in his basement who's espousing pseudo-intellectualism about things he doesn't know anything about. Then he goes, oh, yeah, well, why don't you dig the old bitch up and put her on your podcast? So I had a choice. I could answer that, or I could ignore it. And I said, I'll ignore it. And I said, sure, I'll bring her on if you go ahead and bring on your dad when you actually find him. He was a black guy. So I just turned it just right around on him. And he goes, yo, man, I found my dad. Put the old bitch on. I said, was the prison busy? And this guy, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. So then he comes on and goes, yeah, the same prison your granddaddy was in. And I'm like, bro, you need to try again. I'm going to give you a do-over. I'm just going to give you a pass. Try again, and we'll see if you can do better. And then, F you, you white cracker, Nazi, son of a blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, report to Facebook. And then poof, he disappears, because those words will get you banned from Facebook. And I win. So the point I'm trying to make is stop letting people put you in a Kafka trap. And we're going to keep talking about this until everyone gets it. That when they ask you something, ask another question or change the topic. Don't let them. The moment that you trigger off and if they make fun of you and say, "Oh, you're fat," or you're old. And if you say, "Oh, I'm not old, you're old," all you're doing is that's what they want. They know they got you, and now they're just going to bleed you dry. So just switch it around on them. That's the problem with the Kafka trap. And I see this on debates on every single show out there is everyone does it. Debbie Boggs says, Rumble kicked me out, couldn't get back in. That's really weird. How many people do we have on Rumble right now?
Let me look.
Yeah. Let's find out. Anyway, Kafka trap, something to think about. We'll be right back.
The DUM Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled our funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, you, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time, and we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or Mail, every bit helps to keep us going. DUM Nation, we appreciate you more than words can say.
We certainly do. We appreciate it, folks. $59.35 is our total. Last donation was $10.80 by Joseph Hillstrom. We go for $300 a night. About 50% of that goes to streaming costs and everything else as far as internet. Internet is so expensive to do this. We need to move to a business account sometime in the future. But Livia's going to pump some of those through real quick, and we'll move on to our next topic. Go ahead.
Joseph should pop up any minute. That was the one I just put in.
Wait.
He wrote a comment on it.
I got to see if it's... Shit. It got closed.
Okay. So he said a Starbucks coffee, I guess, was his comment.
Well, how much was it?
$10, and it's the bottom one, $10.80.
Okay, $10.80.
Yeah, what happens is it pops up down there on the donation thing, and then it pops up on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know why the likes keep it turned off accidentally. I must be hitting a button. So go ahead.
Yep, this is
Patricia Good donated $21.10. Thank you, Patricia. Appreciate it. I have a feeling we're going to break 100 on the next one. Let's see. Thank you, Patricia.
I'm going. Hey, I've got to get into it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a new person that unless they've donated before or they've been on the show.
I'll tell you if it's a new person. I'm usually pretty good about this, but okay. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. George Harrison. We love your work with the Beatles. Greetings, salutations from Santa Cruz, California. Looking forward to the 16th. Enjoy the show tonight.
That's what I was thinking.
George, is this your first time here?
I don't recognize the name, but of course I can't keep track of like all.
Santa Cruz. What a great skateboard. I had Santa Cruz wheels with a Tony Hawk deck when I was in Cali. I'm from Ventura, so we used to go up to Santa Cruz all the time and surf. So fantastic. Love Santa Cruz. Thank you. We have another one coming on?
Nope, that's it.
Nazis are very sad and upset. I've said this a million times. Is like Nick Fuentes was like the head Adolf, and he was edgy, and nobody did what he did. And I had to give Nick credit because he ran his own thing, and nobody really was doing the I don't like Jews, I don't like blacks, I believe in segregation, all immigration should stop. I don't think you should cross the streams when it comes to race and marriage. I mean, this guy, Nick Fuentes, was bringing the thunder. And then what we found out is really Nick is just kind of a small fish in a pool full of dicks. And he's not very good at what he does because he's getting passed up by Jake Shields and Stu Peters. These guys are real Nazi pricks. And Nick is kind of having to elevate his game in order to keep up. Now all the groypers are going to get upset and they're going to cry and all this other stuff. And that's fine. It doesn't bother me. But When you realize that your shtick and your grift is now mainstream and hating Jews is cool. You
got to keep yourself relevant.
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You know, and someone tried to kill him and he got a lot of money for that. And then now he's going off on Dave Portnoy and calling him a Jew. And because the people who put the F the Jews sign, you know, listen, I'm not a big fan of Dave Portnoy and what he does. I think gambling is a horrible thing. I think gambling ruins sports. I think it's shit. I can't stand listening to, oh, you can get a parlay super duper mega parlay dupler if you call right now. I hate gambling. I think it's stupid. It's just dumb. You know, these people cry on the forums all the time. God, the fucking Avs, he could have scored. I'm like, oh yeah, you wanted him to win? He's like, well, I had him on a +1 and I took the over. You're a loser. So I don't like Dave Portnoy for this, but I also know what he did during COVID and how many businesses he helped and how much money he raises and how he treats his dog. If that's all I know about him.
Miss Peaches.
Miss Peaches. That's
She's
all.
cute. And he just adopt another one?
He did. But if that's all we know about him. So the Nazis are sad. So here it is.
When I said Miss Peaches,
yeah,
she whacked me. Ash is laying on my feet and she just rolled over and whacked me with her paw.
So here's an interview with a Nazi and lamenting on how difficult it is to be a Nazi in today's world. Listen to this.
Hi, my name is Chuck, and I'm a Nazi. Like, actually, I'm a real card-carrying Nazi. Literally. Here's my card. I've been a Nazi as long as I can remember. I believe all the standard Nazi stuff. I hate minorities and undesirables. I think Aryans should rule the world. The Third Reich shall rise again. All the classics. But it's not as fun to be a Nazi anymore. When they started calling Elon Musk a Nazi and Trump and, you know, pretty much every Republican, it made it a lot harder for me to stand out. It's like I go out in public and I'm like, hey everyone, I'm a Nazi. And they're like, big deal. Everyone we don't like is a Nazi. It makes me feel less special. You know, this swastika armband, it used to mean something. Now I'm walking down the street and every Tesla has a swastika painted on it. Every Republican's garage door has one. I just can't stand out from the crowd. Nowadays, anyone who owns a Tesla is a Nazi. Anyone who voted for Trump is a Nazi. Anyone who believes in enforcing our nation's laws is a Nazi. Anyone who doesn't want to sterilize and mutilate people in bizarre medical experiments is a Nazi. Which is a real head scratcher because, honestly, we've been huge supporters of that. Mangala was a real pioneer. I'm just feeling discouraged. I used to be unique, special, different. There weren't many of us. It took real effort and commitment to be a Nazi. Now all you have to do is simply imply online that you don't think students should be stabbed at football games or track meets and bam, instant Nazi. I used to be able to Sieg Heil in a crowded room and really cause a scene. But now, anyone who's doing the wave at a baseball game or sending their heart out to you in a speech is apparently a Nazi. I guess I just want to go back to the old days when being a Nazi meant something. Because if we change the definition of Nazi to include any old Joe walking down the street, it loses its power. Because when everyone's a Nazi, no one is.
Fucking love the beat.
Elon
That's
Musk
funny.
is not a Nazi.
They're so good at
Jordan
what they do.
Peterson
And you know what's funny?
isn't
It's
a
funny, but it's true. It's. Can I tell you how many times I've been called a Nazi? And people, like, if they understood how much I absolutely fucking hate Europe, like, despise Europe. I despise everything about Europe. I can't stand England. I can't stand the Germans. Fuck the French. I just don't like Europe. Been there. I've done it. They're pretentious douche plows. Everyone, I can't stand it. Can't stand Europeans. And it's not that I hate them. It's not that I'm like anti-European. It's not like I have European phobia. That's why I can't go to the bathroom. Rim shot. European. Anyway, so I just don't like Europe. And it just baffles me. You're a Nazi. It's like
calling somebody a jerk back in the day. It's really, it cracks me up when you're called a Nazi because you support the Jews. That's the funny thing is I support Jews. Well, you're a Nazi for supporting Jews.
What?
What? That doesn't make any sense at all.
I mean,
really? Do you really?
Well, see, the thing is this, is that there's a difference between supporting Jews and allowing Jews to have a sovereign country and live without being attacked, and liking Israel. Like, I love Israel. I just don't like the Israeli government. I'm not a Benjamin Netanyahu fan. I think he's fucking nuts. I told you guys what was going to happen. I told you what was going to happen. I said two things on October 8th after October 7th. I said, your people are going to let their mask slip, and you're going to find out who people really are, and they hate Jews. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is, in 30 days to a couple of weeks, Gaza will no longer exist. They will level every building. They will kill man, woman, and child. Everybody in there is dead unless they flee. Well, that's what happened. Did it mean I condone it? No, I had people come on all the time. Oh, you're a Jew lover. I kind of am a Jew lover. Jews are hot. You ever seen a Jewish woman? Holy shit. They look like
Gal Gadot.
They look like Olivia.
Gal Gadot.
Olivia doesn't look Mexican. She looks like a Jew. I've said it a million times. Why do you think I freaking gave her duct tape and roofies? So
I have no idea if I even have any Jewish blood in me, or I don't think
you've got some German in you.
Well, not right now, but.
Oh my God. So anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is, I don't particularly like Benjamin Netanyahu. And from what I'm hearing, either does Donald Trump, because New York Times is reporting and a few other media stations are saying that Trump has cut off all communications with Netanyahu.
Really?
Yeah.
And Netanyahu pissed him off, huh?
Well, Netanyahu has been demanding, and a lot like Zelensky, Donald Trump's America first. And people are sitting here and just completely trashing Trump. Trump believes in the Abraham Accords. And if Israel doesn't stop fucking around, it's going to go to World War III. You've killed the ones who need to be killed. It's time to stop and either send in the troops and clear that fucking place and get it done. But, we're going on too long here. Too much attention. The further we get away from October 7th, the less sentiment people have or an appetite for things like this. So I don't have a problem with Israel. I don't have a problem with Jews. I don't have a problem with Judaism. I get frustrated with the Israeli government sometimes because I do know what they do. And I do know who they are. And their reaction to a lot of things is so over the top that the U.S. has to carry the water sometimes. That's my point. Not a Netanyahu lover. It's not like I'm like, oh, Netanyahu's the greatest guy in the world. I think Netanyahu is the farthest extreme of the right that you can get without being a fascist. Do I believe Israel's important to our country? Sure. Do I believe it's important from an intelligence standpoint, from a geographical standpoint, and the people? Yes, absolutely, 100%. But do I believe that Benjamin Netanyahu is prosecuting this war in a way that is truly considering what the ramifications are going to be from a global perspective? No, I don't. And I think that's where Israel makes mistakes, is that they don't have that presence of mind to understand is that they are under a microscope. And I don't care which country it is. I think the world paused and said, October 7th was horrific and do what you need to do, just like 9/11. But if we were still flattening Baghdad after they rebuilt, or going into Kabul and flattening it, or, literally leveling neighborhoods that long after October 7th, I think people would start to question. And this is what happened with the Iraq War. 300,000 were killed. She has barked.
Yeah.
300,000 were killed. And sentiment for the Iraq War got sour. Same thing's happening here. Do I know how many hostages have yet to be returned, Matt? I don't know the new number. But either way, it's gotten to a point where something needs to happen. Sue says, I'm not saying anything. Why? Why wouldn't you say something? Because the only reason you wouldn't say something, because I've said it all, is something deliberately anti-Semitic. So just say it. Why hide it? Just say it. Because everything I said would be the opposite of that, and just being cognitive and aware of the government of Israel, their intelligence apparatus, and their kind of pot stirs in a lot of things. Not this in particular with October 7th, is pretty harsh on the diagnoses. The only other thing there is to say is to specifically get into the Jews themselves. And if you want to do that, go ahead. I will never shy away from that dialogue. But understand this is that as a longtime friend, I'm going to have some questions. Barry says, disagree. Evil needs to be wiped out. Hamas still has hostages. If Israel stops now, Hamas will... No, that's not what I said. Barry, I said they need to go into and literally take out every single Hamas opposition and put soldiers on the ground. Because this is what we know from Iraq, is bombing alone does not work. We know this from Vietnam. We tried all the napalm. We tried all the heavy bombs. Okay, Sue, thanks. We've tried all the heavy bombs, but you got to go put boots on the ground. You got to get your feet dirty, and you got to go in there, and you got to clean them out. This can't go on for another 2 years. And Trump is probably saying to Netanyahu, now, I'm not completely damning Netanyahu, Barry. I just don't particularly love him, especially lately. And I can understand why Trump is disenfranchised. Here's why. Trump is trying to get the Abraham Accords in place. He wants Saudi Arabia to recognize Israel, sign the Abraham Accords that the PLO, that Hamas, Iran, the IRGC, Hezbollah, the Houthis, all did October 7th in order to destroy the Abraham Accords between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Because once Saudi Arabia signs on, there's no Muslim country that's going to fuck around with Israel. Once that happens, it changes everything. Yep. I know you love Bibi, but I don't. I don't love any politician. You know what I mean? Do I believe in the sovereignty of Israel? You know this with all my heart. Do I believe that Israel and the people deserve to be protected at all costs? Absolutely. But do I believe that Gazans, who are only 9% who don't want to kill Jews, deserve to live? Yep, I do. But the problem is that 91% of voting age and above males and females inside that country support Hamas and believe Jews should be eradicated from the river to the sea. And that is why my sentiment is kind of like tough shit. But that's only going to last for so long. You're going to have to put boots on the ground. You're going to have to go in there and clean it out tunnel by tunnel, and it's going to suck, and it's going to be Israel's Vietnam, but that's the way it is. I understand you don't want to marry him. You love him as a strong leader, but understand he's very demanding of the United States, and he has pissed Trump off at this point. Trump is pissed off. And Barry, you can call in if you want to so we can chat about this, but Trump is now pissed. And he has a right to be, because, finish my thought, Trump wants to do what I said. He wants to get Saudi Arabia to sign the Abraham Accords. He wants the petrodollar back and have Saudi Arabia do that. So it's not open to North Korea, South Africa, China, and Russia, and their new trade proposals and their new dollars. And he wants to create the petrodollar, and he wants to get Saudi Arabia in there, and he wants the Abraham Accords to force all the other Muslim countries to agree to start trading on the global market with Israel and start benefiting from multi-cooperative global trade. And the only way you do that is to get Bibi to finish this shit now. You know, and you got to understand, there's also something else, is that India was launching drones up Pakistan's ass. Those were Israeli drones.
I'm just curious, how did he get the nickname BB?
Benjamin.
Because there's no other B.
It could be in his middle name.
No.
I don't know. It's a good question. But that's my point, is that, you know, and a lot of people are like, well, wait a second. You know, Israel's funding the war. That's bullshit. They're not funding the war, but they are providing weapon systems just like the United States is. I mean, there's not a weapon system on this planet that doesn't have a U.S. sticker on it that some country uses, including Russia and China. U.S. weapon systems are traded on the open market. So Israel needs to get the job done. They need to stop long-range bombing. It works to a point, but all you're doing right now, the only thing you're doing right now is the more dead babies that get out of the buildings and pulled out of the buildings, you're going to lose sentiment, and you're going to lose it. And here's the problem: if they lose the United States, that is World War III. Because the only thing that Israel has, if they lose the United States, is the nuke. And if they use a nuke in the Middle East, there's going to be hell to pay. So you've got to get this shit solved. And I think what Trump is saying is it's time to stop. You've got to prosecute this at a higher level. You need to put boots on the ground, and you either need to occupy Gaza or you need to reinstate Gaza with a militaristic presence on the streets. The only way you do that is put boots on the ground. You're not going to do that with bombs. So that's my point. Appreciate your commentary, Barry. And I love that you watch the show, man. That means a lot to me. Barry's a good dude. They are liberal here in Monterey Bay. Thank God for YouTube. Yeah, thank God for YouTube, too. We appreciate you. It's a good conversation. And it's one that I think you're going to hear in the coming days, is that Donald Trump is now done with this war. And he's saying, I want Ukraine and Russia done. I want Israel done. I'm backing Iran off. Because here's the thing. We're trying to set up a war with Iran. And I'm going to show you something. Barry says, Israel will lose sentiment no matter what they do. Well, but they didn't, though. They had the sentiment from the people who mattered at the beginning. Okay? That's my point. Now, a lot of the UN it's just fucking NATO, and the UN is just who they are. But European countries supported it. United States supported it. Canada supported it. Japan supported it. A lot of countries just kind of stood on their hands and had nothing to say. Surprisingly enough, a lot of Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia came out multiple times and didn't defend the Gazans. Nobody wanted to take them. I mean, the fact that 98% of the territory in Muslim countries said, fuck them. I'm not taking the Gazans. I don't want the Palestinians. So right there, that is support inadvertently. But it's wearing thin is what I'm saying. Like I said, there's only so many babies that you can pull out of buildings on Twitter where people are going, okay, enough. I'll finish your comment. Israel does more in any country to prevent innocent deaths. Any innocent deaths are on Hamas. Okay, once again, that's not the optics. I agree with you. I've said that on this show a million times. A modern day cataloged combat for the last 200 years. You can go back all the way to the American Revolution. Israel has the best record when it comes to civilian to military combatant death ratio ever in any recorded history of war. I'm already there with you. But babies are still coming out of buildings. And today's age with video cameras and phones where every single person can be a journalist, we didn't see this in Iraq. I did. And that's why I can't sleep at night. But what we saw was secondary electronic intelligence that wasn't broadcast on CNN. You didn't see the babies coming out of buildings. In Vietnam, you didn't get to see the atrocities. You heard about it. But the soldiers who went through it, the Marines who went through it, and the airmen and Coast Guardsmen, not Coast Guardsmen, but sailors, they lived it. And they got to carry it with them forever, etched in their brains. And people are going over there without understanding what's happening and seeing it. And it's garnering support because they're not seeing the babies being pulled out of buildings. They're not seeing what Hamas did to children and women. They're not seeing the videos of that. They're not seeing the tapes of that because the U.S. media isn't allowing it and not showing it. So, Barry, I'm with you. But optics are important. Optics are important. And he has had time. This place is the size of Delaware. I could go take over Delaware in a short period of time. You give me 1,000 people and I'll hold Delaware. So my point is that he has to get this done so Trump can move forward. That's my point. Call in 276-200-2105. I'd love to talk to you. Love to get your perspective. Because we didn't get to talk about this when you were on. We were talking about other stuff. But you can call in. I got Zoom open. It's ready to go if you want to call in and chat. Would love to hear from you, buddy. I think we're close. I think the big separation that we are here is that I think Bibi's time is up, because I think October 7th, although atrocious, and although 1983 was atrocious, and 88 and 2001 and 2007 and all the other times that in 2017 that Hamas has attacked Israel, people don't know that. And the American media is not teaching the American people to what happened. And this is the problem. This is the issue, is that one side is being told, and all these protests that you're seeing of Palestinians and Hamas, you know what I think of these people. These people are garbage. But the media is doing a disservice to the Jewish people, and they owe it to tell the truth, and they're not doing it. We've done that on this show. But I'm also telling you why Donald Trump is kind of saying, hey, don't be demanding with me. Zelensky tried that. You don't command the United States of America. Trump is America first. And that's probably the biggest thing that Netanyahu needs to understand is you got to remember this. See, I'm gonna tee off a little bit on Netanyahu real quick. 2020 election. Bibi comes on air and says that the election looks funky, hinky, looks to be, not a free and fair election. And he's the first world leader to call Joe Biden. Barack Obama and Joe Biden put him on the back burner. They didn't even invite him. Joe Biden didn't even have Netanyahu. He refused to sit with him. He didn't even show up at the airport with Netanyahu. But in 2020, he calls Biden. Why? 276-200-2105. It's right down at the bottom. Liv, would you mind putting it up?
Well, it's on the screen.
Barry can't see it.
And I will.
He's a photographer. He doesn't,
He doesn't have the eye for that.
Break your camera out and zoom in. So Barry's going to call in. This is good. Barry, if you want a link, we can do that too.
Yeah, you can call into the show video.
All right. So my point is Benjamin Netanyahu should be demonstrating a lot of loyalty to Donald Trump. And I don't think that Donald Trump appreciates him being demanding. Trump doesn't like that. You kind of got to kiss the ring when you talk to him. So you can't sit here and say that you think the election was stolen or didn't have the integrity. And you know how I feel about this. And then go ahead and call Biden and be the first world leader to congratulate him. That pissed Trump off a lot. And because Trump had been great to Israel. He recognized Jerusalem as the capital. He did anti-hate legislation in Florida and passed through that with Ron DeSantis' help. One of the reasons why Ron DeSantis went in as governor. Supported and sat Netanyahu multiple times. Visited the Wailing Wall. Put on a yarmulke and kissed the wall. On his trip to Iraq during Thanksgiving, I think it was, also stopped by Israel. 6 other presidents before him promised to recognize Jerusalem as the capital and failed to do it. Donald Trump.
Why couldn't Israel set up their own capital and say, this is our capital?
Because it was contested. This is where that two-state solution is Muslims claim it's the resting place of Muhammad, and Jews believe it's where the second coming of Christ will be. So it's a holy land for both.
Got it.
So they both claim it. So by him moving the embassy there and recognizing Jerusalem, this is a huge move. I mean, he was great to the Jews. He
Said it's not going through.
I see it, but it's not going through. Okay, hold on. It's Zoom, right?
I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
Hold on. I don't think I did, or did I do Skype?
I don't remember.
It's okay. I'm going to figure it out right now. Okay, there it is. You're on the Don't Unfriend Me show. This is Matthew. How can I help you?
Hey, Barry.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, Barry.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing? Not much.
All right, go ahead. You've been listening to the show. I want to get your perspective, man. I'd love having you on. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the conversation. Which of course I agree with pretty much everything you said. I wasn't looking to debate you. I was just giving my little opinion there too. But yes, I'm just kind of. I guess my opinion is, I get what you're saying. I did miss the first part of the show, so I might have missed some important points too.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm always like, I know people always say, well, it looks bad when you see, of course, it's a horrible thing when you see dead babies or children. But, Israel's been doing this, being attacked by these people for so long. And it's like, and then every time they attack, then, Hamas puts, hides their weapons in hospitals or in schools, and children get killed. And it looks bad. But Israel, but I agree with you. Israel's just got to go on hard and end it. I agree with that. But we can't worry. It's like, with Hiroshima, we had a lot of children, a lot of innocent people died.
You're right.
But it ended the war and prevented, so I'm just about, okay, enough with what the world thinks. Israel's got to do what they got to do. And, I don't like that if he is pissing off Trump too. I mean, that's not a good thing. But I just don't know what else they can do.
Well,
I guess I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware that they didn't have as many boots on the ground. That I really didn't.
Yeah,
know.
I mean, you basically have to basically make a decision. What happens to Gaza after your mission is complete? What are the mission parameters? And you have to establish. So if it's to control Gaza and Gaza occupied control, which I would not recommend because it didn't work out very well for the English with the Irish. It didn't work well for Afghanistan, for the Russians and the United States, and it certainly didn't work out for the French with Vietnam. Occupation of a country is dangerous. So, but if that's the case, then
sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead, brother.
It's really not occupation. I don't think it's occupation because it was never really theirs to begin with.
Well,
Israel mistakenly gave it to them. Ariel Sharon was an extremely stupid move. It was theirs. It was never Palestinians. It was, Palestinians didn't have a country. It's not even, it's pretty much a made up name. So these people came from Jordan or wherever other countries. This was never their land. Israel never occupied it, and they won't be occupying it if they do take it over.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want them to occupy it, who's going to take it over? Then we can't give it back to the Palestinians. They're just going to, who are they going to vote in? Hamas, Fatah? It's going to be let's kill Israel.
Yeah.
Again.
Right.
And then we'll have another October 7th. That's why they have to go. I think they either have to occupy it or something else has to be done. They just can't let them,
Yeah. And occupation isn't the claiming of the land. Occupation is that whether Israel likes this or not is in 1940, when in 1830 when the Roman Emperor named it Palestinia, which is a Roman word, not an Arabic word.
Right. Which
there was still 8 to 9% of the Jewish population was still there in 1940. Right. So I'm with you. Israel never gave up the territory. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that there is a group of people living there who are not Jewish. And it has been recognized by the Jewish government. And let's face it, I mean, the Jewish government created Hamas. They certainly didn't create the terrorist side of Hamas. But they did install and begin the process of Hamas for the government of the Gazan people. The problem is that is when it was taken over by extremists and terrorism, and we know what happened. So it's really important for people to understand is that Israel recognized that territory. They bordered that territory to protect not from Israel going in and trying to hold them there in that air prison that they say. It was literally to stop them from attacking and killing Jews, which is exactly what they did. We gave them 75,000 work permits. They use that to take cell phone pictures, to guard, to see the weaknesses, developed a plan, and murdered Jews. This is what they do. So my point is,
exactly.
Kill them. But,
well, yeah, I'm with you. I guess we're not in disagreement there. That's for sure.
But do it faster.
Right. Well, yeah, and you know more about that than I do. Obviously, you have the background. Yeah,
get in there.
Military guy, so you understand.
Get in there.
Understand that part better than I do.
Listen, this is how
we're basically in agreement.
This is how you do it. You take a mile at a time. You go in, you put an armored tank division, you sweep it, put minesweepers out there, and you move forward. And then you go ahead and you stick a 20 to 30 man unit, and you build command posts. And you go ahead and you start monitoring, you take over communications, and then you move forward another mile and you do the same thing. And then every time you go 5 miles, you put a forward operating base there. And then you got to get a quick ready force to go. So you got to have attack choppers and you got to have military jets ready on standby to go ahead and provide air support to any of these stations. And you literally take over the country mile by mile. And you sweep every square inch and you eradicate Hamas. Period.
Right. Well, I agree with you. Absolutely. So questions, which I really don't know the answer to, is do you have any idea why Israel is not doing that? Because I actually really wasn't aware of that.
Yep, I'll tell you why.
What is holding them back?
It's really easy. Okay, how did the Nazis identify Jews? Do you know this history?
Well, with the star.
Yeah,
the star on there.
Right, but how did they know to give them the star? How did they know to round them up?
That I'm not sure.
There was a Jewish registry. And there was a voluntary registry.
Actually, I did know that. You're right. I did
yep,
know that.
The Jewish registry, and they went. They had the entire lineage of Jewish people who were 1/100th of whatever Jewish. They knew it all because there was an open proclamation of Jewish registry. Right. So here's the problem: how do you recognize a Muslim extremist?
Right.
You can't.
Yeah. Well.
So
no, you can't, right?
Yeah, here's what we know is that if the Jews don't kill the women and they don't kill the children, this will become a generational war. And that is what nobody's willing to say. That is what the Jews are not afraid to do, which is to say we might be hitting some of these areas. And yes, there's civilian casualties, but ultimately to eradicate an ideology and a methodology, you have to remove the people from the area. So you're going to have to get them all out. That's the only way to do it.
Well, yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Are you excited?
I mean, I thought they were kind of holding back. I thought they were holding back too under the Biden administration because I know Biden was not, was not an Israeli fan.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's more where it was, but I don't know why they would be holding back now. Though I would think Trump would say. Yeah, I would think. I thought what was going to happen was Trump say, "Okay, do what you got to do," and then I thought they would do it. So I'm not sure why they're holding back now.
Yeah. Well, I think Israel knows that Israeli body bags are not going to help a government which is fairly unstable, and Bibi's support is not that strong right now. In fact, a lot of people think Bibi usurped power from the people, and the far right element of the party is not very popular. He's got to get this done. He's got to prosecute this war before some asshole liberal comes in and starts negotiating with Hamas. You cannot negotiate with these people.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. You're right.
Appreciate it. Right. Hey, 16th, man. Are you excited about the 16th and Tonto coming on?
Oh my God, big time! I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. I had a chance to.
I love it, and with good company too. So I know I'm not going to be on at the same time, but that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Well, I'm so glad you have some great guests too.
It's going to be awesome, man. We're excited to have you too and talk to you as always, and we love you and appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Thanks for letting me join the show today.
You got it, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Good to learn stuff from you too.
Oh, vice versa, dude. I love talking to you. It's always fun. We'll get into it on the show.
Yeah, sounds good. I look forward to it.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Barry Morgenstein, folks. Good dude. If you haven't looked him up, he's America's headshot photographer. If you're looking to get some photographs, this is the guy to this is the guy to call. He's the best. We'll be right back.
May 16th, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. One night only. The DUM Show is hosting a night built on something real. No filters, no corporate sponsors, no gatekeepers. It started with a simple offer. A longtime supporter asked what it would take to build a real studio. A place where conversations stay honest, not bought and sold. He didn't just ask. He promised to match every dollar donated that night up to $10,000. The call went out and the right people answered. Chris Tonto Peronto, Benghazi hero hero who fought through the night when leadership abandoned them. Roseanne Barr, the voice Hollywood tried to erase but never could. Laura Logan, the journalist who exposed corruption and never blinked. They're not coming for a paycheck. They're coming because the fight for truth is still worth showing up for. And they're joined by T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Barry Morgenstein, Lisa Regina, Ryan Samuels, and Jason Shepard. One night, one shot to show that real voices still matter. Follow along at The Dumb Show and get all the details at thedumbshow.com. The race to 20K starts now. Be part of it.
Yeah, Bubba said it best. Minesweepers and infantry from the river to the sea. It's the truth. That's what I said. You know, you put in some MRAP vehicles, you go in there, you clear all the mines, and then you have some 50 cals and clean out the tall buildings and get the snipers and then go door to door. I mean, that's what has to happen. Anybody with a green bandana doesn't make it out. That's it. Hi, puppy. What are you doing, baby? Where are you? Where's my girl? Hi, sweet pea. Got an interesting thing here. Love you, Livy. DHS Public Assistant Secretary Tricia Ohio talks to Will Cain about Democrats breaking into an ICE facility in New Jersey on the Will Cain Show. I'm really enjoying the Will Cain Show. I like Will Cain. Anybody use an RE20 mic, I kind of appreciate. I'm a big fan of the RE20. I use the SM7B because Olivia uses the SM7B, and, well, it's a good microphone as well. Anyway, going into this, it's really interesting. Can they ever get on the good side of anything? Newark, New Jersey. This is the mayor who air traffic control went down again and blacked out for like 37 seconds yet again. I mean, can you imagine? That's like a pilot just taking his hand off the control and the yoke and just being like, woo, blah, 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 blah. You just, let's get nilly-willy with flying. Went into an ICE facility supporting MS-13 members and got arrested. Here is one of the videos, and then I'll show you some of the arrest footage that's pretty telling. These people are just stupid. Here it is.
Yes, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. Tricia, thank you for being with us here today. Can you give us the latest on what went down here today at this facility? It is an ICE facility, but it's also a private contractor, I believe, working for the government. Who is housed inside this facility?
Well, thanks for having me. There's been for days protests outside of.
Sorry, Alfonso says, I'm embarrassed about the Nuggets beatdown. Don't be. There's nothing wrong until you lose at home. Okay? They went in and they took a game.
They took game
They're
one.
going to adjust. The refs were like, they're going to get a lecture. They were all over the Nuggets. Nuggets bumped into somebody. I mean, they literally had their hand up their colon, and they didn't call anything on OKC. I think they're going to adjust the defense. Their perimeter shooting needs to get better. Let the Nuggets address. And you're going to be up in Mile High where they are deadly. They take two. Nobody's going to be embarrassed about shit because you're going to be up 3-1. And the chances of them coming back from a 3-1 deficit are pretty fucking slim. So I wouldn't be embarrassed at all. Happens. Butt kickings happen.
This ICE facility, Delaney Detention Hall, which was opened just in May. So it's very recent. It houses MS-13 gang members. It houses rapists, child predators, multiple, an MS-13 gang member, even a suspected terrorist. So these are really the worst of the worst in this facility. And the fact that the Democrats are trying to get these individuals out of the facility, but to set the scene here, well, what happened was there was a bus full of detainees trying to get through the gate when these Democrat politicians and protesters stormed that gate and got to the first security checkpoint. So when you're seeing any of these people being restrained, it's because they illegally broke into this facility. And we can expect, I mean, a civilian, if they try to break into a detention facility, they will be physically restrained. Members of Congress also have to follow the law. Had they asked us to take a tour of that facility, we would have happily facilitated that for them. You heard them themselves saying that the facility was in good shape. Well,
right. They are making the argument, as we just heard during the final moments, the final minutes of Martha McCallan's program during that press conference, that they were conducting congressional oversight. Tricia, I was looking
outside of Congress. You're not law enforcement officials. Your job is to write the legislation, not enforce it. You're not the executive branch. You're not the judicial branch. You have no authority whatsoever. Congressional oversight is limited to inside of Congress. Thank you very much. If you want to go take a road trip, you file with the person who is in charge of that property. You schedule a visit. You don't storm a gate when a supply truck goes through, you sanctimonious dickbags.
Into this right before we came on air, there is the power of Congress to conduct spot oversight. The limits, which are shaped by not only the Constitution, but several Supreme Court decisions informing the scope of that power of oversight for congressmen, seems to be not to interfere with executive authority. It's hard to look at any of the video that took place today and say you're not interfering. Even though you may have the power of oversight, you're not directly interfering in executive authority and the execution, in this case, of bringing a busload of detainees into a facility.
Your oversight is over legislation. Your oversight is over financials tied to that legislation. Your job is not to overall do inspections when it comes to a government facility.
Just like they were trying to do on the DOE earlier.
That's not your, yeah, exactly. It's not your job. It's not your job. There are people in place inside ICE who do oversight, who do criminal investigations, who do spot checks on facility checks. Those people report to you. Your job is to reach out to the Director of Homeland Security or ICE itself, and they will give you an update. You summon them or subpoena them into an oversight committee, and if it's a confidential, you do it behind closed doors, and if it's not, you do it in an open hearing or forum. And you see it on C-SPAN. That is where your oversight begins and ends. It doesn't mean you get a free fucking access into secure government facilities anytime you want. That's not the way it works.
Not interfering with the executive authority.
That is not congressional oversight to break and enter into a facility with security precautions. They put law enforcement at risk, and they actually put the detainees at risk as well. So to say that it's congressional oversight is laughable. Again, we would have facilitated that tour and happily. And eventually, actually, they did take a tour even after they broke and entered that facility.
All right. Trish McLaughlin, thank you so much for being with us.
Being a congressperson doesn't give you godlike powers.
No, it certainly doesn't. Look, okay, let's do an example. Let's do an old friend of the show, Eli Crane. Eli Crane wants to investigate the Butler assassination attempt. So what does he do? He takes a trip. He doesn't go into that location. He doesn't go into that sheriff's location and that police location and just walk in and climb on the roof and, you know, like SEAL Team 6 and takes a chopper, Black Hawk drops him in and he rappels onto the roof and, you know, takes his M4 and starts opening up on the police department. No, he requests a visit. That's it. And then he gets to go in and take a look. But he's not there on official business. He can't force his way in without a warrant. Who the hell do these people think they are? Because this, to me, it looks like an insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to go ahead and force your way into a location, that is an insurrection. Any way you slice it. It's a federal building. They are performing federal duties, and you ass clowns are forcing your way in and breaking and entering. Here is another video
that we've been watching. I know this is sort of a static shot here of these few folks on the other side of this fence, but we want to fill you in on what has been happening in Newark, New Jersey.
Folks, by the way, we are halfway to goal, and we are almost 3/4 of the way of the show. 2110, Bobby Richardson, part 2. Come on, y'all. Thank you, Bobby, for helping us get over the 171 mark. We're about 130 shy, folks. We would love to hit this, crush this. Let's go ahead and watch this. Yes, Thomas.
DHS says, quote, a group of protesters, including 2 members of Congress, stormed the gate and broke into the ICE detention facility. The members, Robert Menendez Jr. and Bonnie Watson Coleman, and multiple protesters are holed up in a guard shack area, the first security checkpoint. Interim U.S. Attorney Alina Habba for the District of New Jersey posting on X that Newark's Democrat Mayor Ras Baraka was there and, quote, committed trespass. Here he is talking about the facility. So we have some in the week.
I'm not lagging, dude. I don't know what to tell you, Thomas. I'm not lagging. I don't know what you're... I'm watching our stream right now, and I've got diagnostics up because I have been ever since we overheated. I don't know what to tell you. I am not lagging. And there might be some minor video lag in between occasionally, but no. Hold on, I'll pull up network statistics right now. 1 second. Hey, thank you so much, Mr. Hollandaise Sauce. We certainly appreciate
Great show
you.
tonight. Pump for next Friday. Thanks again for all you do for Mr. Sauce.
So, you can't see this window. But here's my dios. My rolling is 2864. 28. My speed test is 345 megabytes up. My required is 2864. You can see my red line. I am overdriving my red line. My dips are hardly at all. So I'm clean on diogs. So I don't know. Might be you, bud. And you can lag even though your internet's doing well. It depends on your ping rate. It depends what you're pinging Facebook at. That's what I would check. Just do a ping check. If you're running Windows, just run a ping on Facebook's IP and tell me what it comes back at. And if it's sitting at 322 milliseconds, there's your problem. Just now, when you said you can't see this window, I don't know. I didn't have any lag. Okay, anyway, here's the rest.
New information from DHS regarding this incident. Static shot here of these few folks on the other side of New Jersey posting on X that Newark's Democrat mayor.
So mayor got arrested. Several Democrats got arrested. Here is the video of them forcing their way in. These people are idiots. And you know what? I hope they send them in jail, and I hope they charge them with insurrection, and they each get 4 to 5 years in prison.
Yep.
Unbelievable. You know what? I mean, this reminds me of Bowman pulling the fire alarm. That was an insurrection too. There was official government proceedings going on. Nothing's going to happen to these people because they're the ones. I mean, it's like expecting the convicts in prison to go ahead and hold themselves accountable when something bad happens in the prison. You know what I mean? I mean, these are the people who are the criminals. It's crazy. I'm so tired of these people. Sorry, Liv.
Why sorry? I
don't know. Benny Johnson is a person who there's a little bit of lag. Yeah, it's just video lag. I don't know. Let me find out why. One sec. I'm seeing if I have any programs open that are causing this. Hopefully that helps. There is still lag with this computer. It's doing it right now. You're right. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Yeah, it's just I got to get a new computer. That's what it is. It's still going to be that problem until, especially with the new show. It'll run fine for the new show. I won't be running the third camera. And maybe that's what I do is I just turn that off when I'm running this show. You know what I mean?
That might be a good idea.
There we go. All right, 26. I don't know, Thomas. I'll tell you, dude. Call Facebook. It's not me. If you're talking about there's some stuttering in the video, I can't do anything about it. All right, so I usually hit Benny pretty hard. And I'm going to give him some credit. This is actually a well-informed, honest, articulate, and non-clickbait presentation with Mike Rowe. And here's the thing, Benny, you're smart to do that because Mike Rowe would eat your shit for frickin' lunch. And no, he wouldn't. That's a dirty job he's not willing to do. But my point is Mike Rowe is probably single-handedly, in my opinion, one of the smartest people who has a mic in front of him. I think he's Paul Harvey smart. I think he's grounded. I think he's based. I don't think I've seen him ever lose his temper. I've seen him angry, but not in the way that you would anticipate. You can, if you listen to Mike Rowe for years, you can hear when he gets annoyed with people. He becomes more sarcastic. He becomes more flippant, and he crushes you quicker. But I have to give Benny credit. This is a fantastic point by him, and it's a great conversation, and everyone should listen to it. And this is rare for me because Benny pisses me off more times than he doesn't. But if Benny would just do this all the time, and he doesn't need to listen to me. I don't even have a bit of his following. But he's doing just fine with his formula. But I'll tell you what, I would watch him every day if he would do this. This is really good. Liv, you should like this because it's Mike Rowe. You like Mike.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, we went to East Palestine 4 days after a toxic train explosion that was brought about and ordered by the Biden administration, sending poison chemicals into the air and ground and water. And when I reviewed what had happened to that city, the true bomb actually happened 20 years earlier when the final textile plant closed in a little hamlet of East Palestine that used to be bustling and have a fantastic 70-year textile industry tied to it. That led to the growth of the entire place and led to the train passing right through the town. Like, why does the train pass right through the town? Well, so that they could ship the textiles that was so desirable, the plates and the cups and the spoons and everything that was being made there. And the true poison that was injected in that community happened through globalism long before the train explosion. Train explosion is like a sad afterthought of what really happened there. I was truly profound and very depressing to see. And that's what everybody, when you travel those streets, man, and you talk with those people, like, it was radicalizing for me.
Well, look, again, like what is it that people suspect is true that they didn't before? And it's really nuanced to get into it and kind of vague, but it has to do, I think, with, like, there's real importance and value to the business of making a thing that doesn't have anything to do with the value of the thing or the transactional reality of, the economic argument, in other words. I had this conversation the other day with a guy named Bayard Winthrop, who owns a small textile company called American Giant. They make sweatshirts, they make T-shirts and so forth. They've been doing it for 15 years. And he gets very emotional. He makes what Slate magazine called the best hoodie ever made. It's not cheap, but it's done down in South Carolina.
I'll challenge that, Mike, but whatever.
Yeah. Every single step of the process. He does this with flannel shirts too, that are all yarn dyed. Everything is hand spun with cotton that is grown in this country, like the entire thing, right? And so on the one hand, yeah, it's just a sweatshirt. And how excited can people get about a sweatshirt? On the other hand, you're talking about hundreds of jobs in a factory town that's alive and well, as in not East Palestine, right?
Yeah.
And the importance, the relevance of a perfectly made sweatshirt has been completely arbitraged out of the conversation, where we now say, I just heard somebody on the news, some economist basically saying, it's just not in our interest to make that stuff because we can get a similar product that's almost as good for a fraction of the price from China or Vietnam or someplace else. And again, I hear that and I think of the blind man who grabbed the tusk of the elephant and concluded that the entire animal was made of ivory, because that's the only thing he touched. Meanwhile, there's a trunk and there's a tail and there are legs and there's a lot of other things that make an elephant beyond the tusk. There are a lot of things that sweatshirt represents that go beyond its cost. And yeah, we gave away something that was primal and fundamental, and we're either going to get
here. The second half of this is where the real point is made, and it's something that we better figure out pretty quick. I love my Giza Dream Sheets too. My wife and I both love them.
Get it back or we're not. Final thought. The risk to your first question, do I think Trump can do it? I'm certainly rooting for him, but full disclosure, I was rooting for Obama in 2009 with the Highway Infrastructure Act, when he talked about 3 million shovel-ready jobs. Remember that? And I was like, hey, man, I wrote him an open letter. You can find it online. And I said, look, Mr. President, I'm rooting for you. But if you're going to sell 3 million shovel-ready jobs, you should understand you're talking to a country that's not all that enthused about picking up a shovel. And that's just the way it is.
Amen.
And President Trump, if you're serious about creating a couple million manufacturing jobs that currently don't exist, you're going to have to grapple with the fact that in January, there were 482,000 jobs in the manufacturing sector that were open. And there's no workforce there to fill them. So it's all going to trickle down to that. That's going to be the fundamental problem. And I've been at it since there's the letter. Yeah, that went out. What's it say? March
2009.
Yeah, man. That's when I started.
January 30. Man, you wrote that on his inauguration.
I did. And it was an honest letter. And I offered the resources of my foundation and whatever use I could be. But I simply said, look, man, you can't think. I know I'm over my skis and I was probably full of myself, but I'm like, just because you create a job doesn't mean you're going to fill it. Got 7.6 million open positions today, Benny. 7.6 million. Most of them don't require a 4-year degree.
It's a really good point that, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I mean, as the old adage goes, and I know it's cliche, but there is people have become self-entitled, hun.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to think about how, let's just take us for example. Like, I know I can go and work, let's say for GameStop. And I know I could be a regional for GameStop living here in Virginia, and I can go make $125,000 a year doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be fine. But I have no desire to go do that job, because to me, that's like digging ditches. And you kind of feel the same way about Starbucks. You did the restaurant business. You've done that. And you're
I've
like,
done retail.
yeah, I know I can go be a transgender Jewish one-legged lesbian over at Starbucks and probably make $50 an hour as a front-end manager and have all the insurance. But who wants to do that, right? So how do we get these kids to work? Like, Hayden wants to do it. She'll wash dishes. She doesn't care. She's got the mentality, because we've instilled in her that carrying firewood and picking up dog poop and doing the dishes is a responsibility. And how nice will it be if you could actually get paid to do those things? What are your thoughts on it? Is there an opportunity where it starts with parents? It starts with a house, that blue collar jobs are not, they don't have cooties?
Yeah, it does, but it also starts with our schools.
Yeah.
And the No Child Left Behind, and that everyone gets a medal, and everyone gets to retake a test. No matter how many times you fail it, you're going to get passed no matter what you do and how hard you try. You're going to get passed. So it starts with the schools as well. And it starts with parents and teachers and other people that influence children's lives to not make them feel like they are entitled. And that's how these kids are growing up, is they feel when they get out of high school that they are entitled. They are entitled to go to a $500,000 4-year degree at some Ivy League school. And then they feel that they are entitled as soon as they graduate that Ivy League school, that they're going to have a job where they're going to make $500,000 a year. And they also feel entitled that they don't have to pay back their student loans.
Right.
So it's the process of, since they are yay high, they're being shoved down their throats that they are entitled, that they have a golden spoon in their mouth, and that they can do whatever they want. There's no consequences. And you're going to get the same stuff and the same prize if you don't do anything but sit on your ass and play video games, as the person who is over here working their ass off, you know, digging ditches, working as a dishwasher at a local restaurant, and then coming home and studying till midnight to get straight A's. This person feels that they are entitled to just as much as this person, and they're not. It's the whole process of hard work and actually earning something. Earning is not taught. you get what you earn. That's how we were taught.
Right.
I mean, we know, our generation knows that living in a tiny $300 a month apartment studio and living on top ramen and macaroni and cheese is a way of life for a little bit, because it gets you to where you need to be. You have to pay your dues when you're younger. And that's just how we were raised. And we did it. I mean, having macaroni and cheese was like, holy shit, we're living high in the hog this week. We get macaroni and cheese this week instead of top ramen, you know? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people on here listening have been through that, but these kids aren't taught that. They're not taught that hard work is valued. And that's, I think, where it starts, is it needs to be taught back in schools again. And until the cycle of these parents, because the kids that are in school right now, their parents were the no child left behind kids.
Right.
And so they are teaching their children what they were taught. And it's just going to become a big cycle. And somebody needs to stop the cycle, so we as Americans will value hard work again and feel that we need to earn what we have.
Yeah, I think we give children too many options to not fail and not starve. I hate to say it, but man, hunger is a motivating factor. Showers are a motivating factor. Heat is a motivating factor. And during the most, I got to give your mom credit. She stuck to her guns when she wanted us to separate.
Yep.
And she wanted us to break up. And she's like, my daughter's hungry. Tell her to come home and I'll feed her as long as she leaves you. And, harsh, tough, but she wasn't going to cave from her values of not agreeing that we should live together and how she wanted you home. And, there will come a time where, we do this now. Olivia, Hayden wants money and we're like, how are you going to pay for that? I want Nike shoes. Well, we're no longer supporting Nike in this household because they support transgender surgeries and reassignment, and they've done research on assisting with sexually mutilating children and then testing how it plays in sports. That is, I will never, let alone they're a Chinese company, but that's okay. Everything's from China. But that is, no, I will never support Nike again, ever. So you've got to make decisions that help people understand what the standards are. And I don't know if it's parents need to provide more for our children. I think we need to provide less. And I think we need to cut them off quicker. And like our kids know, if they don't go to college, they have to work. But you can live here as long as you want, but you will pay rent. And you will pay, and you will cook meals, and you will help, and you will clean. And if you don't, you won't have a house. It's an interesting proposition. Megyn Kelly. Oh, boy.
Of course.
Yeah, but she's wearing this thing, and we got to get you this thing because it's a thing, and my thing is responding. I'm just.
Jeez, Matthew.
Stu Peters. You hear me talk about him. He's a Nazi punk ass. Like, there's not many people who I would want to grab. If I met him in person, he's one of them. He's one of them. He's one of those guys I would grab. Well, Megyn Kelly locked horns with Stu Peters. And this is what Stu Peters had to say about her. Megyn Kelly, a tramp who tried to shake down Fox News with sexual harassment complaints, is now defending perverts like Dave Portnoy because he's a Jew. Well, let's see what Megyn Kelly has to say about this.
Stu Peters said that?
Oh yeah, if you think that's bad, just wait. He is a neo-Nazi, kill Jews, murder them, eradicate them from the planet, black people. It's all about white nation. He is a horrible human being. And remember, the person on his network, Deanna. Remember, I went on her show. She works under his network and banner. And yeah, I'm done with him. Here's Megyn Kelly.
Okay, so maybe Khan doesn't hate Jews. maybe Khan is just a citizen journalist. Maybe he got pulled into this against his will because he saw a sign he found offensive and he posted the video of it online with.
So this is the guy, Khan, the F the Jews guy, right? Dave Portnoy, if you're not following this story, we've been covering it. Dave Portnoy comes in, it's in his bar. He goes to the kid. He's like, dude, I don't want to ruin your life. You need to go to Auschwitz. You need to research about the Jews and see what happened to them. And I'm going to send you over there and do a trip. And the kid agrees. And then all of a sudden, 24 hours later, when he lawyers up, he starts getting all bad and tough and refuses to do it. And now he's just openly out. Multiple tweets throughout his history of anti-Semitic, anti-Jew shit. Now he's really bad. And he is on and doing the tour with the Nazi fucking network, which is like the Nick Fuentes, Jake Shields, Stu Peters. I'm sure he's going to be on Candace and the Hodge twins too. Anything to hate the Jews. And Megyn Kelly, I'm with her. You know what? I stand with Megyn. You can call me a cuck. You can call me a Jew lover. I don't give a fuck. Say it to my face. Come find me. Oh, you're a tough guy. You know what? That's Nick Fuentes' thing. Nick, if you constantly say that people are a tough guy and people are Mr. Badass, then that means you inherently are a pussy. You're a soy boy beta male. Because if everyone is a threat to you, then you are non-threatening. And the worst type of man is the one who is one you don't fear. You're fucking useless. In the hierarchy of men and women that we protect and we propagate our seed, and they accept and have children and rear those kids, in the basic biology, that is who we are. You're fucking useless because you're an incel virgin who has never slept with a woman and you openly admit it. And then also every man to you is a threat. You may as well just fucking hook up with Dylan Mulvaney and get some because you are a soy boy. Megyn Kelly, in not so many words, has some fine choice words as well.
Without comment, just to let people know this was happening. And then, according to Portnoy, had a conversation in which he confessed to something far more nefarious than the facts as I've just allegedly laid them out, and is only now doubling back on them. But in any event, maybe he's totally innocent. What would you do if you were in his position? What would you do? Maybe you'd go on the Megyn Kelly show. Maybe you'd go on Good Morning America. Maybe you'd speak to the Associated Press. I don't know, you do something, right, to get your side of the story out. Khan decided to go on the show of a man named Stu, S-T-E-W, Peters. And I'd never heard of Stu Peters before. I did Google him after I saw the clips online. He is described as an alt-right podcaster.
God, I love that dress.
Stu, S-T-E-W?
Oh, yeah, as in carrots, potatoes, and beef or pork. Yep, Stu.
Was he trying to be like witty?
No, it's Stu Peters. His parents they hated him when he came out. I mean, I hate him now, but his parents hated him too.
I wonder if it's Stewart, S-T-E-W-A-R-T, and he just shortened it.
I think it is. I think it's Stu is for Stubby, and it's Stubby Peter.
Probably.
He's got a very tiny little Stubby Peter. Doesn't Megyn Kelly look smoking in that outfit? Whatever that is, it's just like, it says you can't. And then this side says you can. It's very nice. You should get that, baby.
You buy it for me.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I guess so. Like, they now describe like Ben Shapiro as alt-right, which is very funny because he's been targeted over and over again by the true alt-right that wants him dead because he's a Jewish man. This seems right to me. Alt-right seems to fit this guy. I'm okay with it. Stu Peters.
Debbie Boggs says, Olivia, you can totally rock that better than her, sweetie.
Okay, buy it for me for next Friday's show, and I'll wear it at next Friday's show.
Okay.
Who hopefully will never have to show clips from again. But here's a little clip from Mo Khan on the Stu Peters show.
This guy is not a good guy. He just utterly destroyed my life. No, he's not a good guy. He's a filthy Jew. It is really about just defending what's right. It is about like humanity. And yes, Americans, largely, they are a bunch of cucks. They're a bunch of simps. This has everything to do with good versus evil. This has everything to do with humanity against demons. That's what I see when I look at these fuck the Jews signs, and I look at everybody putting their fists in the air and drinking to that shit, saying, hell, fuck yeah, fuck the Jews. That's what I see. I see humanity coming together. I mean, let's be real.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. We need to start standing up as humanity against these Jews.
In a symbolic way, I liked how you used the term never put up the white flag, because essentially that's what I'm going to keep doing. They thought that initially off rip, they could have me put up the white flag, take your trip to Auschwitz. I'm not doing that.
I want you to see how quickly Stu Peters, this piece of shit degenerate, turns on his guest when his little neo-Nazi fuckboys go ahead and say, why do you have a Muslim on? And Stu goes, milks this guy for all he's worth, uses him up like a prison bitch for a pack of cigarettes, walks away, throws him a towel, and then boots him to the curb. How stupid does this twat waffle feel? That he just got played by a neo-Nazi who thinks that he should be dead or working as his slave to shine his shoes. And you go on his show and he just espouses all this bullshit about Jews, and then he turns around and does the same thing to you. Dave Portnoy is a lot of things. Dave Portnoy gave you a shot. This guy literally called you a raghead right to your face with the way he treated you. He may as well have called you a goat fucker. Dave Portnoy didn't treat you that way. Just think about that.
So Mokan clearly not offended at all by any piece of that diatribe. Like, cool. He just responded like, we're just having ourselves a normal one here. And
Carrie says, let's vote on it. I don't like that outfit. Looks like DEI seamstress forgot to finish. Fine, she should take it off. Take it off, Megan. Take it off. I'm here for it.
And then Portnoy, before going to bed last night, also posted the following clip from the Stu Peters Mo Khan interview, where he points out it was going so well for Mo until Stu Peters listeners realized that Mo was a brown man who happens to be Muslim. Watch.
Stu, I hope you see this. I can't believe you're giving $100,000 to a brown Muslim. Shame on you. You could have given that to a white community in some way. Pathetic. All right. I mean, it's fair.
It's stupid. It's fair. It's a fair point. What am I doing? Why am I having? Okay, so that's where we are right now. And
can you believe that shit?
He just read it out loud.
If I was that guy, that Muslim guy, I would say, I'm going to go get 5 of my friends and we're going to come down to your place and clack a vest. What is $100,000 worth? Is it worth you to kiss a white guy's boot who thinks you should be a slave to him? You know what I would tell him with that $100,000? I'm going to find the best hitman in 10 fucking counties. What type of balls are on this guy? What type of security does he have around him that he thinks that he's bulletproof, and that one of these days that someone with just the comeuppance like Luigi Mangione isn't going to go ahead and end this problem for him?
I would like to have him on our show.
Stu Peters?
Yeah.
I'd fucking destroy
Exactly.
Stu Peters.
That's why I want him on our show.
You know what he said? This idiot, this is hilarious. He truly believes that everything in the world that's gone wrong is because of the Jews. This is his fervent belief.
Has he ever said why he hates Jews so much?
Oh, he's probably because one of his gay lovers was Jewish and he cheated on him or something. I don't know. I don't know. I can't listen to the guy. All I know is that when I talk to Dom, and I'm not, listen, I'm not going to speak for Dom, so I'm going to paraphrase. But Dom's like, people hate him. They hate him. They hate working for him. He's a scam artist. He rips people off. He doesn't pay him. Man, I can't believe that I even went on his network. And I questioned it. I called Dom. I said, should I even do this? He's like, listen, Deanne's a great person. And she's fine. She couldn't spell my name right, but she's fine. But I promise you, Stu Peters, I guarantee you he's got 4 bodyguards, all armed to the teeth, because this guy walks around like he's not bulletproof. And I'm telling you, man, you got a big mouth. And you're saying some shit that it's not Nick Fuentes who flirts with it. You are openly a fucking Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're just 100% Aryan Nation, Mein Kampf, Goebbels and the sorts. You're a Nazi. And this is what the left calls everyone else. No, that guy's a Nazi. And why the left aren't railing against him. I understand Rumble's a free speech network, but this guy, the shit that comes out of his mouth, he doesn't have the physique. He doesn't have the willpower. He doesn't have the...
He's not on Wimkin, is he?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. And Jason wouldn't ban him from Wimkin, but Jason doesn't want him on Wimkin. Jason doesn't hire scumbags. Well, he hired me.
Not a scumbag.
Jason doesn't hire people who are inherently bad for America. Stu Peters doesn't love America. Stu Peters loves himself. Stu Peters, when he masturbates, looks at himself in the mirror when he does it. I promise you, this is the type of guy. And he uses his own tears as lube as he cries over the Jew. Show me on the dreidel where the Jew touched you.
You know,
you pissed off Megyn Kelly, dude. You don't fuck around and find out.
Why do I mention this? Why is this our lead story today? Because it's interesting to me on a couple of levels. Number one, this guy, you don't have to be a member of the woke left to be quick to rush to victimhood. The fact that this guy, and he's exactly the right age, like 2021, is leaning into making himself the victim in all of this instead of accepting personal responsibility, accepting an olive branch, somebody whose bar you were in, and then you posted that sign, has, instead of getting angry at you and trying to publicly humiliate you, offered to send you someplace where you might enlarge your worldview, and you turn on him. Then you start a fundraiser for yourself. Then you play the victim when your university suspends you because you didn't say, I disagree with Israel. You didn't say F Israel, which is totally cool. That's fine. You can say that.
Agreed.
People have strong feelings about Israel.
Agreed.
You said F the Jews, which is basically the same thing as saying F the N-words. That's what you did. And there will be blowback in modern day society for that, thankfully. Less than you should get, frankly. But I'm pleased he's getting some. I'm dismayed he's raised $12,000 and it'll probably get the $25,000. I'm dismayed there's a Stu Peters who's got a show where he spews off like this, but he's not the only one. There are plenty of these alt-right, white supremacists, whatever you want to call them, types out there, and they've got quite a following.
Man, listen, there's got to be, if one thing happens with this show is that at some point, Megyn Kelly and I need to talk, and I promise, Livia, I love you unequivocally, and I would never, ever.
It needs to be over Zoom.
Okay, that's fair. We'll do Zoom. We'll do Zoom. But her and I, like, really, even though I cuss more and I'm more abrasive, have a very similar disposition on things. I find I agree with Megyn Kelly more than just about anybody else. Bongino and I saw a lot of things eye to eye, but Megyn Kelly and I don't disagree on much. And, call me a cuck or call me, I'm a beta because I agree with a chick. You know what? Who wants to listen to her? Dude, her numbers are astronomical. And this woman has survived in a business to rebrand herself when she challenged Trump when she should have. Trump was arrogant. He was up a peg, and she challenged him in 2016 in the debate, but then earns his trust by giving him the benefit of the doubt and seeing by leaving Fox, seeing the opportunities with the liberals even more up close, especially the media, and then rebuilding her image. She's a success story. So you can say whatever you want, but Stu Peters has a small penis, and no woman ever who looks like that would touch a pimple-faced dickhead like him. He's not man enough.
Nope.
He's not man enough. He doesn't have the balls. Mel Lowe, go to gold dummies. Yes, we got to get gold. 203. Holy crap. I thought we were higher than that. Folks, help out, please. Good for Megyn Kelly. Stand your ground, sister. You're kicking ass.
May 16th.
I want to be your Dave Rubin. Can you please just adopt me like you adopted Dave Rubin? He's a lib lab.
Who's Dave Rubin?
He was on the Young Turks, and then he came over to conservative, who I actually really enjoy. Her and him get along
Was
famously.
that the one that melted down in 2016?
That was Cenk Uyghur.
That's right.
But Dave Rubin was on that panel. Yeah,
Okay.
he was Young Turks, and now he's conservative, and he's earned my respect because Leroy told me to watch him, and I watch him. But can you just adopt me too? I'm whatever you need. I'm not going to request anything. I'm open for adoption. Just let me know.
6 p.m.
Breastfeeding is not necessary.
to 11 p.m. One night only. The DUM Show is hosting a night built on something real. No filters, no corporate sponsors, no gatekeepers. It started with a simple offer. A longtime supporter asked what it would take to build a real studio, a place where conversations stay honest, not bought and sold. He didn't just ask. He promised to match every dollar donated that night up to $10,000. The call went out and the right people answered. Chris Tonto Peronto, Benghazi hero who fought through the night when leadership abandoned them, rose.
Okay, just because I have a little crush on Megyn Kelly, my wife isn't threatened. She knows, she owns every part of me, and I'm hers. I am her love slave. Okay, she knows.
Plus, he knows I have a little bit of a crush on John Krasinski.
Yeah, and you also
Ryan Reynolds isn't up there for me anymore. It's John Krasinski.
You
all the way.
also, yeah, but the good thing is, you've made some comments about similarities between John Krasinski and I. And second, you would sleep with Megyn Kelly just as fast as I would. So stop lying.
Probably faster, but
See,
yes.
she would do her. I'm telling you, she would. Like I would have to hold her back. Megyn Kelly comes over, I'm like, Miss Kelly, I am so sorry. You have 2 dogs. Why is she on all fours? Megyn, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Who's here?
Zembar, the voice Hollywood tried to erase but never could. Laura Logan, the journalist who exposed corruption and never blinked. They're not coming for a paycheck. They're coming because the fight for truth is still worth showing up for. And they're joined by T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Barry Morgenstein, Lisa Regina, Ryan Samuels, and Jason Shepard. One night, one shot to show that real voices still matter. Follow along at The Dumb Show and get all the details at thedumbshow.com. The race to 20K starts now. Be part of it.
Folks, you're just going to have to get used to it. Olivia and I are 2 very sexual beings. It's who we are. Our kids, they have hours and hours of therapy to deal with. We've always demonstrate our love, and we're not afraid to show it. This happened. Okay, I want you to.
Melanie, her husband's her crush was Olivia Newton-John. So was his.
Yeah,
when he was
well, she
younger.
was my young. Yeah, she was one of my first crushes. This happened in a park where people are with their kids, and it's a white neighborhood. And this happened. And tell me how scary this would be if you're alone or you're wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah, look at these white people. Scared of motherfucker.
Who is this group and what are they shouting?
It's a black nationalist group, essentially black power, and using what Samoans and other people use as some sort of kata in a certain language that probably is, a warrior's chant before, going and fucking going after a lion or hunting an elephant or some shit in Africa. Who fucking cares? But I want you to imagine that that's a black neighborhood and those are Klan members. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And if I am a white man and I see 150 all dressed the same singing some sort of guttural chant at me to intimidate me, I'm getting the fuck out of there. But you're going to have to explain that to your kids.
Yeah,
and
they're right near a park.
Yeah, if you want to destroy racism towards certain colors, then maybe you shouldn't fulfill the stereotype of literally being exactly what racists say you are. And this goes for white people too. I just fucking condemn Stu Peters. It's black people's turn. These black nationalist groups, you're just as bad as the neo-Nazi skinhead fucking Klan members. You're a bunch of clowns. You're nothing without your buddies. Listen, I'm not stupid. I understand athletically that black people are usually far superior to men. But you know what? I've got 17 friends and they all run faster than you. And that makes me equal. And what I can't do with my fists and my knees and my legs and my teeth and every other thing that's around me to fight for my life, I've got one equalizer that puts us on level playing ground. And I don't shoot like this. I'll tell you that much. I'm telling you, man, things are going to kick off, Liv. And it's stuff like this that will happen. Can you imagine a white person who starts firing into that crowd? What would happen?
It's civil war.
It's exactly what it would be because you're telling me that there's not a couple of those guys who have guns, and then they start firing around. Then a white woman gets hit or a child gets hit.
Because they're at a plague. Right?
Then what happens? Then the cops show up. Then these guys are running into the forest. They're getting chased by cops. Then they start firing on the cops. Well, then the SWAT team comes in.
And then all of a sudden, the cops are racist because they're going after black people.
Then you start seeing cities open up. Then those guys go back to their compound and they have a standoff with the cops and start shooting cops with sniper rifles. This is the type of shit that will start a conflict. Now, when the Patriot Nation was running around with their white mask, those guys are fucking idiots too. But people are starting to realize that singularities can no longer win against these divisions in this country. And it's going to take groups of people. And that's when you get civil war, is when singularities no longer are enough and you need to run in a pack. And then people are going to go into their proverbial corners. And then after some time, they're going to start getting ballsy and brash. And they're going to explore outside of their territory. And that is when you'll have open conflict. That's how civil war starts. Lois Bentley, $10.80.
Thank you, ma'am.
A guy I used to work with was fired, was married to a Lebanese nationalist, took her name, trained in a local training facility in Northeast Ohio. Listen, I don't care what color you are. If like I said, if a bunch of people in white clothes and masks went into a black neighborhood and did that, I would be just as upset. We got to tone down this rhetoric. A South Carolina firing squad, they still execute people by firing squad. Folks, please donate.
Jeez.
The number's up. If everyone right now gave $5, we would crush goal. We've got 250 plus on. If everyone, that's like $1,250. That's like $1,200. Everyone gave $5. If everyone gave $1, we would crush goal. But you have a chance, you have an opportunity, you watch the show, you're like, wow, it's a good show. I like this show. I like Matt. He talks too much, but Olivia doesn't. But when she says it, she's so Megyn Kelly-ish.
I just sit here and look pretty.
No, you don't. That's not true. Some nights you talk more, sometimes you don't. But you were supposed to be the color commentary person when we started this. And I can go on forever. And, you know, I get it. Some nights, like we had a show last Friday, where honestly, I rewatched the show. And out of the 2 hours, you talked a good hour and a half. I mean, you had a lot to say. And sometimes it happens.
It just depends on the what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got a lot to say, and other times I don't.
Yeah, I tell you, if I was going to be put to death in capital punishment, I would want a firing squad. And I would tell him not to aim for my chest. Aim for my head. Make it go quick. End it. But a South Carolina firing squad failed to strike the heart of convicted cop killer Makal Mahdi, leaving him conscious for up to 80 seconds in what experts are calling a botched execution. Here is the video.
It's not botched if he ended up dying, right?
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, is that
I
the
thought
point?
like good for them.
Isn't that the point?
If I was him, I would just blow off his frickin' leg and hit his femoral artery. And
Is he wearing a flak jacket?
And here he was.
Okay.
Because he's a cop killer. Here it is.
Curtain opened up a little after 5:59. When it opened up, Makal Mahdi was sitting in the firing squad chair. They came out, and right at 6:01, they put the hood over his head. Mahdi had a groan. I wouldn't call it a scream, but it was like a groan or some indication of pain immediately after he was shot. And then there was also one final gasp or one kind of final deep breath. Not long after that happened, I would say maybe 30 seconds, the physician came in the room with their stethoscope and, did an examination. The examination took about 1 minute and 30 seconds, maybe just a tad bit less. He walked away and they declared him dead at about 6:05.
Bummer.
In a room. Wow.
Yeah, maybe, how about...
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Matthew Spear.
How about 6:15 or 6:20? Could we have made it go a little longer? Could we have used a 22? You know what I think? I think if you're going to be executed, it should be a gut shot with a 22. That'll take 8 or 9 hours. Yeah, Karen Vera says the best. Did he care about the cop who suffered? Yeah, it's a great point.
Exactly.
Watching from X this time, I hope it helps the algorithms. Everything helps the algorithms. You guys, whatever you can do is awesome. But my first reaction is, who cares? Tamar, $5. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all our mothers out there. It's amazing. I was going to say something at the end of the show. A Kim Kardashian clone decides that she is going to take her Great Dane, I think, as her comfort animal, and she is an influencer, which basically means she does what I don't know. She might take booby bouncy shots with her working out, or she might be a podcaster. I don't know anything about her, and I have no desire to look her up. This shit's ridiculous. First of all, pay the fee. A service dog are for people who actually need it, not some uptight yuppie from Beverly Hills who has more frickin' plastic in her ass and her tits than the entire plane, manifold, and fuselage.
And if I'm not mistaken, Great Danes usually aren't service animals, but I mean.
Well, that's what they do. They just slap service animal on these things, and then to get a free flight. So here is the thing in question.
I've been hearing about this guy. Right, so I'm going to ask you, because they both each what you're going to say, and I know that I'm sitting around people, and I just want to make sure they're okay with this. So the supervisor already talked to everyone and explained everything, so...
It's going to be fine. Everyone want to be close to Charlie. Everyone, even me.
I'm just letting you know that thing is going to take a shit the size of Mount Rushmore. You should pay for that dog's seat. You should pay for 3 seats. Nobody should sit. What if you have a dog allergy? What if someone's allergic to dogs? This is insane.
Yeah, Jack.
Welcome.
Liv.
I could tell you what
What
would
is going
happen
on,
if
Don't
somebody
Unfriend Me Nation?
complained.
Oh,
Matthew Spear
son of
from
a bitch. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The person who complains is going to get kicked off the flight. That happened to my mom. There was a family, and the way she told it was pretty funny. It was a family of 5, so mom, dad, and 3 kids. And she said when they walked on the plane, the husband just looked completely dejected and like there was no life in his eyes. And my mom said the woman was just loud and complaining the whole time. And there was across the aisle a lady who had a cat, and the cat was in the carrier. Lady paid for the cat to come on. And I guess my mom was like, my son's allergic to cats. He can't sit near this. This lady needs to get off this plane, blah, blah, blah. I mean, just freaked out. And they called, and I don't know if they talked to the captain or if they talked to somebody else within the airline. And they came back and said, we're going to have to ask you and your entire family to get off the plane. And you're on the next plane. And she's like, wait a second, what? Why do I have to get off the plane? Why? Well, because this woman has paid for the cat, and you're saying that your son has a life-threatening allergy to cats. And I'm sorry, we can't take the chance. So we will get you on another flight that doesn't have a cat on it, which is the next flight. So you're going to, and apparently she just freaked out.
You fucked up.
Freaked out. And she had to be escorted off the plane.
Yeah.
And the husband the whole time just kind of sat there with his head looking at the floor. Yeah. Apparently it's probably not the first time she's done something stupid like that. But yeah, so whatever happened, they all got booted.
Rick Shoemaker says, I'm waiting for the first Aussie to bring on his service kangaroo or some Russian to bring in a polar bear or some shit.
A polar bear, that's funny.
It's just, I know there's no polar bears in Russia. Shush. Don Bradley donated $10. Happy Friday. Great show. Thank you. $228.94, folks. We're $70 off. It's we're hoping to get a couple big ones. If you haven't had a chance to donate, now's the time. We're going to be leaving here after this video. Cameron, if you haven't been over to the Don't Unfriend Me show, folks, coffee, shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, great stuff. Olivia's shirt she's wearing right now, make women female again. My Red Friday shirt, you can get a Wimkin hat, everything over there. It's all a 5-star. We don't talk about it enough, but it's a 5-star store, and I really kind of just have not been speaking about it, but go over there and just look at the shirts. The site is very well designed. It's built for you. You can go over there and look at the 16th show as well and get some information there. But if you want to learn more about the show, go to thedumshow.com and you can go and listen to all of our old episodes. All the live shows are there, our old recordings. I think there's something like close to 7,000 hours of content up there for you to peruse. So go give it a watch. I've got to update the live shows on the YouTube feed, but otherwise everything's there. So go take a look, pick yourself up some coffee, a shirt, a hat, a hoodie, something like that. Thank you, Deborah McLaughlin. Great show tonight. Thank you for saying it's a great show, folks. Like I said, if you're going to get your donations in, now is the time. Let's hit it heavy. This is Cameron Kinsey. She's a very lovely lady and very, very kind. She is a political commentator, and she was on Fox News. She's doing very well. She fainted on the show, and the EMTs were very, very kind. She got some fluids, and she feels better. And I was concerned, but can I just say, whoever this person was on the show, dude, when one of your guests takes a nosedive, you might not want to. I know you're supposed to be on with the show, but this is a little ridiculous. Liv, we'll get your thoughts.
Okay.
Ideology, or it's not about.
Oh my goodness! We're just going to get some help here for Cameron. Let me come back to Lydia while we get some help for Cameron here. Lydia, the. President, we're gonna go to a break right here.
You think?
You think?
You think?
Oh my goodness! What a dick.
He's English.
Of course you. I wonder what happened to her. Was she
probably got a vaccine? No, I'm kidding. It's just a joke. This is horrible. First of all, she's lovely, and like my first reaction, I want to go pick her up. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to go protect her. That's what you do.
Now you just look like a putz.
Hey, seriously, do you want to get off the floor? What's your problem? We're trying to have a show here. Seriously, you fucking Americans.
Exactly.
I mean, could you have a little poise and posture? I mean, what was the reason to take a dive right now? I mean, what are you doing? Jeez, love. I mean, have some fucking class. I'm trying to do do you think this is good for me? I'm on the weekends at night. Oh, they might as well put me in the 4 a.m. shift and you take a digger out of your chair, you lumpy bitch. Really? Paul Rivera, 2110. Love the Dumb Nation. Good show, you two. Can't wait for the 16th either. Can I? Vaccine, it's possible. Yeah. That was appalling to watch. I can't believe you sat there. I think we're going to go to break. Break? Are you fucking kidding me? We've only got 7 minutes left. It's literally 11 o'clock over on the pond. My family is waiting for this. I can't fucking believe this. These fucking Americans. God. Queen and country, love. What's wrong with these people? Bobby Richardson, part
Freaking
3.
English.
Love you guys, 2110. I don't care if someone was running to her. I'm not going to be like, so Lydia, excuse me, pardon me, Lydia. Lady, can you please like get out of the way or something? You're fucking with my mojo. Come on. It was completely uncalled. How can anyone take the opposite opinion of what I'm saying? Come on, Tamar. Someone was already running to her. I would have at least tried to, I would have tried to catch her, put my arm out or something. You know, like your mom does when you're like driving in a car and she slams on the brakes and she puts her arms out to protect you in the front seat. None of that. You know what he said? We drive on the other side, lady. My arm would be out the window if I was to do that. Fool. Gives a fuck. I'm going to go home and have some English tea time and some crumpets. Watch something on the telly. I'm going to watch you fall over.
I'm going to go to the loo.
I'm going to go to the loo. I'm going to shat this out like I should have with this guest.
In my flat. Oh.
Into my flat.
Well, that's what they're called.
I know.
Flats.
Don't ruin it. I know. 755 Arnold Baker. Handies.
I don't know what that means, but hey.
I know what a handy is. I just don't. Hers are worth much more than 755. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that, like, if I'm on a show and one of my guests faint, you know what I'm going to say? Oh my God. Are they okay? Like if Amy, remember when she was drunk as shit that one night and all of a sudden she toppled over, I'll be like, oh my God, is she okay? We got to get off the phone. Let's call Jason and see where Jason's at or something. Or at least strap her into the seat or something, you know? Like, can we get some duct tape over here? Can we like tie?
Maybe the roofies actually kicked in right there.
Well, he's going to need it. With that look. I mean, like, what's his name? Pasty Pastelson?
Pasty Pastelson.
Right, Sir Pasty Pastelson is the answer. 1776, Deborah Boggs. Happy Mother's Day, Olivia. Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Olivia.
Happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Absolutely happy Mother's. We should give Olivia a great Mother's Day.
Yes.
Some great Mother's Day wishes. I'm trying to see if I have anything else. No, I think we're done. Oh, 565, Brandon. Thanks, buddy.
Mr. Brandon from Still Point. Thank you,
Tomatoes
sir.
down 8%. Lettuce down 5%. Peanuts 2.3. Seafood 2. Seasoning and spices down 2. 1.9 for lunch meats. Look at this.
Eggs is going down finally. Finally.
Dishes down 10%. Televisions down 9. Car and truck rental 8. Sports vehicles 7. Appliances, computers, airline, floor cover, everything. Prices are dropping through the roof. You can say what you want about Donald Trump, but the man understands how to take care of our economy. Shane says, if you touch a woman, you might get sued. Right, but you could at least show, right, you may not even need to touch her. Or you could be like, oh, my God, you know? Like, oh, I tried. You know, like Austin Powers in front of the steamroller. No, you know, something. But he didn't even do that. He's just like, oh, fucking piss off. Really? You had to do this on my show? You couldn't have done this on Steve Hilton's show? He's a blimey bloke who's on at 7 o'clock. He's got a good...
Those damn Yankees.
What? Listen, how are so many people... Chivalry isn't dead. Like, if Olivia fainted right now, I'd at least... You know, really? You hit the dog.
Is the dog okay? Wait, I need to
Did you
pause. I need to make sure the dog's okay.
Jeez, did you hit Ash? What's wrong with you? Get off the floor. Go cook me something.
Pot pies in the oven.
Kate Fagan, uses the final moments of her return to ESPN and Around the Horn to go outside the lines once again. Trans kids deserve to play sports.
In their own gender.
Yeah,
they can play sports.
Can you let her play it before you do the I mean, can we play the video? We don't need to play the video. Olivia's right. Yep. She got it. She didn't need to play it.
Yep.
It's perfect. 307-75.
Well, listen, being on this show has been a privilege and a platform, and I know it's my last time on it, and I want to say something worthy of that privilege and platform, and that is this, that trans kids deserve to play sports. Think about what you remember from your time playing sports. Like 99% of it is finding that jersey for the first time, your favorite number, community,
Yes, the male jersey that I wore, not the female jersey that I wore.
joy, those high fives.
Yeah, everyone was my height. Somebody wasn't 6'7".
It's that moment when you have a great play with a teammate. It's the feeling of belonging, and it does not know gender. And trans kids deserve that the same as everybody else does. And Tony, this space has on Around the Horn, it's been about diversity and inclusion and lifting up new voices, because sports is joy and sports is humanity.
Yeah, shut up. Put the hammer on her.
No one is telling trans kids they can't play sports.
There's no such thing as trans kids. Please don't do that.
Okay, no one
There
is
is
telling
no
you.
such thing as trans kids. There's parents who want their kids to be a different sex than they are.
Yes. So no one's telling them they can't play sports. They just need to play in the sport of the gender they were born. Who is this? Good job, Bobby. That's
Bobby.
Good. Yep.
It's a home run.
Yep.
I'm with you. It's there's just no such thing as trans kids. I can't stand that shit.
She said something in there. I had some witty comeback, and I don't even remember what it was. But
Well, where was it?
I don't remember what she said anymore.
All right, so let's talk about Mother's Day real quick.
Okay.
Because we got a lot of people on. And I have a feeling we can do better than 307.75. I mean, talking about the hair of our chinny chin chin. I don't like Mother's Day. And I don't like Mother's Day, not because of any mothers out there who deserve to be recognized, or you. My mother was not a nice person. And, you know, Matt, you got mommy issues. No, the reason why I don't like Mother's Day is because I don't have mommy issues. Because I excommunicated that woman from my life. However, what I missed from my own mother, and those things that kind of eroded me from my core, the necrosis that took place of encapsulating and then slowly deteriorating my heart with a sheet of black ice, has been slowly melting over the last 14 years. As I see the woman my daughter is becoming, and I see the man my son is becoming, and I look at the woman who has never taken a day off in those 14 years, not once. No matter how sick she was, no matter how she wasn't feeling well, or she had something that was important to her, for 14 years, she has worked tirelessly, sometimes with her own job, and then come home and goes grocery shopping on the weekend and takes them wherever they want to go. As I sit and I try to beat Days Gone for the 7th time in a row, and she allows me my time because she is the fastidious housewife. And it's all she ever wanted to be. That was her dream when we first met. Right after, she's like, I want to marry Matthew. And I'm like, what the? My mom and sister are like, wow, that was fast. And she's been there every minute through the thick and thin and the good and the bad, and has tolerated my slumps and my peaks and valleys. She has maintained, and we've done the same for each other, but she is my matriarch and an example that I never got to see. So she has to carry the responsibility of filling that giant hole in my heart from my own mother as I get to grow new sinew and new nerve endings that make me a better person, because I get to be a witness to what she does every single day, which is a master of her craft. A great mother. She is the best wife, and she still tastes like a peach. And I love everything about her. And although I am a son of a bitch sometimes and grumpy, and I'm not nice to her the way she deserves to be. She is always the best version of herself, and I love you and happy Mother's Day.
Thanks, babe. Love you too.
That's it. I love you too. That's it. Shit.
And you'll get more later.
Well, all you do, you just fucking sit there after that.
Mm-hmm.
You faint and fall over or something. You had to do it on my show of all things. You're an amazing woman. I love you, baby.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything else? Are we done?
We're done.
Is that it? No more?
That's it.
All donations are in?
Yep.
Bollocks. Okay. Well, it is what it is. Good show tonight. Happy Mother's Day to all my mothers out there. You all are terrific. And
Yes.
may you
Happy
have
Mother's Day.
May you have a wonderful. Matt, you made every woman cry. Not every woman, a lot of them. They're usually tears of happiness. They're like, that's what an orgasm feels like. Holy shit.
Debbie Hensley, really, Matt? Olivia's a sure thing. You don't need to work so hard.
Anal is not, something that comes easy. It's either alcohol or I got to grease her up. Literally. That's a joke. Like, listen, I know I'm disgusting. I know I'm a chauvinist pig, but I love my wife. She's amazing. Everyone have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Yes.
Thank you for everything you guys do. It is 7 days away, Livy, from May 16th. It is going to be a huge show. I'm so nervous.
I'm kind of nervous too.
It's going to be incredible. And
I've never met like a huge celebrity like this before.
You've met Joe Sakic, you've met Patrick Waugh, you've met Peter Forsberg.
That's a little different.
Not really. Those are pretty big celebrities.
That's true. But I've never like sat down and got to talk to them and sit down with them face to face. It was, here, will you sign my jersey? Thanks. That was about it with those guys. So
boob.
No, I never had them sign that.
Yeah, it's true.
That was Hugh.
They didn't have a micrometer. Here's the video.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Matthew Spear from the
Wrong video. Here's the video.
The DUM Show, May 16th, 2025, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. One goal, one night, one chance. Chris Peranto, Laura Logan, Roseanne Barr, Jason Shepard, T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Barry Morgenstein, Ryan Samuels, Lisa Regina. One night only. The race to 20K is on. Be part of it.
It's weird. My FaceTime camera just popped in. Ladies and gentlemen, the 16th, we hope you enjoy it. Please do me a favor and stop on by. Mark your calendars. You're going to see a lot of advertisement going on. I'm going to start advertising on Monday to get the push out, to get as many people as we can. Still Point, you better be in the house.
Yes, you better.
I wish you guys were in town because we would have you play. Like I would put you like in my downstairs workout area. I have a big area and like cut to you guys playing. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be really cool. That would be great.
That'd be badass.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about it. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. We'll see you guys on Monday. Monday,
night,
Olivia, myself,
Day.
and Amy. Happy Mother's Day. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.